Seriously, he wore it with black shoes, with white shoes, with blue shoes. This is a brown belt. And who could forget about that time that the LCS landed the biggest sponsorship in the history of esports? A record that is still held today. No, it wasn't from the Saudi Arabian government. Good one, guys. It was from something far bigger, something better, something which inadvertently could give you a heart attack if you eat too much of it. What is it? Our writer isn't going to tell us. He's going to see if we remember by leaving a break in the script.
Okay, hear me out. We had Jersey Mike's before, okay? Way too healthy. I think we gotta go unhealthier. I wanna say, the Burger King sponsorship. Bjergsen, Burger King, it finally happened. We're getting the LCS Whopper.
It's the LCS Big Mac.
I was close!
Not quite. Yes. When McDonald's sponsored the LCS, it was the largest single-sum sponsorship ever paid in esports. And they got their money's worth. They dressed Captain Flowers up like Ronald McDonald and Freak like Mayor McCheese. For every cast, they had to say, I'm loving it, after every kill. Even when CLG was playing TSM, and they were absolutely not loving it at all. Plus, all the players got to go flip burgers after they retired. That's a retirement plan I can get behind.
Definitely. And how about that Overwatch League?
What?
It's still here. Vanilla Overwatch League was great, but much like vanilla sex, people got over it within a year or two. Overwatch 2 was kinkier, but still didn't quite tie us up and call us daddy in that way we wanted. Then comes in Overwatch 3, and bam! They finally realized the whole reason we were playing the game. My grandma's sitting right there. To slap each other with dildos. I know. Who would have thought that this was the solution to making Overwatch League great again? But as soon as all the heroes started firing off different size and shaped and colored dildos, everyone fell in love with Overwatch all over again. It made us here on Boosted regret all the times we talked about how trash Overwatch League was and dead and how it was a bad investment. And it's all thanks to Microsoft and their love of dildos.
Guys, I think I know why this show's getting canceled. Now let's move on to a story that is a little bit more personal in nature and one which you might have seen the fallout of on Twitter. Let's talk about Avali's divorce.
Hold up.
I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, wait, Avali actually found someone willing to sleep with her in her body pillow? The answer to that is yes, but only because that person is very small. Now, I really didn't see... Oh, no. I really didn't see her and Reggie getting together either, but when it happened, I figured, why not? He's rich, she's lonely, it's a match made in heaven. Don't say a word. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for the odd-shaped couple. Not only that, but Reggie got to keep the body pillow in the divorce, and ever since then, Avali has had to sleep alone.
This went too far this time!
Oh, don't worry, I think I'm next.
Oh, yeah? Well, Frost, what about that time that Frost got arrested while protesting against Walmart's decision to remove the senior citizens discount on eggs?
Where is the justice?
She was out there in the parking lot with her Zimmer frame and all the other old hags until the police came in and started cracking skulls. Frost spent 3 weeks in the hospital after that little stunt. And for what? A discount on eggs? The real joke here is G4's health insurance policy. It's been years, and Frost still hasn't been able to repay her medical bills. Between Walmart, police violence, and crippling medical debt, I can't think of a story that better exemplifies the American dream.
Why are we using this time to trash talk each other, Avali? We're both friends here, and it's literally likely that this will be the last time that we're ever going to be on television. We should be using this time to trash talk our enemies.
Oh, yeah.
We should, yes. Like Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Where is he? I don't know where he is, but I I know that he can't defend himself on this show right now, meaning that we can say anything we want about him and our fans will assume it's true.
Yeah?
Like that time he took a dump in the office, but the toilet wouldn't flush, and then the cubicle door wouldn't open, so he had to get one of our producers to come fish him out of there with poop still floating around in the bowl. How embarrassing.
Now, in the spirit of trash talk, our writer would also like to take this opportunity to send a big F you to Sam Seaman, the kid who bullied him in high school.
Yeah, you, Sam.
Yes, our writer actually got bullied by someone with the last name Seaman.
Embarrassing.
But where is this Seaman kid now? Our writer stalked him on LinkedIn, and it turns out he's an accountant! And the guy is happily married with 3 kids like a loser. Not our writer. He's living the dream in his studio apartment, having just given up on drugs for the 3rd time this month. That Seaman loser with his stable job and his wife and kids and not having wasted 10 years of his life riding for G4.
Well, this esports update has gone off the rails very quickly, which is fitting considering that's where Boosted is going. But stick around for one last ride, because after the break, we're going to be looking back at some of the best clips from Boosted history.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching at home from around the world.
Yes, I'm here in Cologne for the finals of Intel Extreme.
Hello and welcome to another episode of G4's Crash Course.
He's the first cleanly has. Nexus is next. GG, they can't let it slip. Oh no. They're letting it slip. Okay, Hunter and Nico will collect.
Boosted, a show where I just talked about dildos in front of my grandma, who is about 20 feet over there. Now, it's been a long journey to get here, but let's take a look back at where it all started. Our very first season all those years ago. Now, our first clip features one of my personal favorite guests. It's WWE superstar King Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed, and his studio-friendly attempt at smashing something with a gravity hammer. And you're going to see it. It's going to be so...
Do I get to smash fruit now?
Yeah, I got...
yeah.
No.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
I don't
Hold up. Hold on.
We can't, all right?
Why?
Because of the desk and...
Hold on. You smash fruit?
We're gonna have to go a little
They smash
smaller.
fruit too.
It's just rules in the building.
Hold up.
No. It's too big. It's too big.
Why? Why can I not smash fruit too?
You can smash fruit, just not fruit this big.
Come on, doesn't matter how big it is.
That's not even fruit.
We're gonna smash the fruit.
This is an onion. This is a freaking onion. This isn't even a fruit.
I'm here to smash. Okay.
Maybe something smaller.
Okay.
It has to be something smaller.
Okay, Apple.
No. It might be because it's a sledgehammer and it's too big, Austin.
Pero quiero.
It's too big. Okay. Here.
Quiero golpear.
Lovely. There you go.
Hold up. Lime.
No, I don't want to get.
Lime.
I don't want to get.
What are you talking about?
I really don't want to get the lime juice in my eye.
How small does it need to go?
We have to be careful about the people in here in lime.
They all have masks on?
It could hurt.
We're compliant. Fine, what can I smash?
That works. There it is. This solitary grape.
The grape.
That's about as much as
I get to smash it with this. Hold on.
No.
Wait, no. Don't.
Yeah, you gotta use the mini hammer. It's you know.
We paid a lot for this desk.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Whoa, safety first.
Safety first. Do we have goggles?
What?
Do we have goggles?
We have no goggles for him?
We have no goggles.
Here, protect your eyes.
Flatten out that plastic so we can actually see.
Yeah, flatten out the plastic so we can.
Please.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Wow, that's a lot going on in there.
Sorry, I'm a little blind.
I got LASIK.
Hopefully you won't be.
Can you see the?
Yeah, I'm all right. Don't worry about me, buddy.
Hold up. This is. I feel like I'm gonna miss. I can't even see this thing right now.
You got it.
Shit!
My eye! This is exactly what I was trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Oh, my eye!
You got it. Here we go. Another.
Oh God! Oh Lord! Oh! Ay Dios! Oh!
Yeah, Dios mío. Claro que sí.
It's great because over the last 10 years of Boosted, you've watched me actually grow my hair into a real woman.
It started out like really short and spiky, like one of the Backstreet Boys types. Yeah, like a hedgehog.
Backstreet Boys. It's okay. Both of them are cute.
Now you're kind of like once it fluffs out, you look like a cute little alpaca.
Next up, we have the world's best esports MILF. I mean, mom. It's Momily. Momvally? I was right.
You were right, bro.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
And
oh God, it's Mom.
Hi guys. I hope that you're having such a fun time at your sleepover. I could totally hear you through the walls. I don't know, like your father decided to make the walls super paper thin because you know how he is. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long time since I've seen you. You've gotten so big. Oh my gosh. Oh, honey. No. I just got the floors refinished. So if you could not do that, thank you so much. But you know what? I could get you something fun later. You look like you'll have so much fun. You look like you're having so much fun. Oh my gosh, honey, how are you? Is everything good?
Yes, I'm fine, Momavly.
Is your tummy okay? I know that you were having.
my tummy's not okay.
Oh, honey, that's because you were shaking this. I don't know why you invited her again.
Marvelly.
Listen. I've got some snacks for you. They're getting ready in the oven. But you know, hey, I think your friends are getting a little bored. Can you talk about Halo 2 just a little bit? Oh, sweetie,
Okay.
you're so cute. Oh my gosh, how did I get so lucky? Oh my God, you have fun. All right.
Thanks,
I love
Mom.
you.
Your mom's a total MILF.
Whoa. Right? Can we nuts on that? Yeah, Frost said it. I'm allowed to co-sign on it. I can't say it, but I'm a co-sign.
I'm the youngest person here, and yet everyone tries to make me a mom. Momvally, anime mommy. When will it stop, Frost? When will it stop?
I couldn't remember if we scripted that bit or not. And then I remember that we didn't. And now I'm still wondering why it took that turn.
I was just channeling my mother. Now, this following clip is from when they made us talk about Rocket League, despite it being an e-sport for peasants. Which makes sense, because Cassim likes it. Roll the clip.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and crank this son of a gun.
Oh, God.
It's gonna hit our heads.
Cue your punishment. We got this. We got camera on. Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. We just didn't get the right angle.
Oh, no, what do you mean?
Hang on. Wait. I got an idea. I've just got an idea. Scooch in.
Cover your head.
Scooch in.
Okay. We're going to get a little more room
Are you
here.
even gonna get up that?
Here we go. You guys watching?
Oh, God.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, the cable!
Oh,
It's
no.
on the cable!
Oh, no.
My tummy!
Wait, can we go one more? Is that what he said?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, we're backing up. No, we had the right angle. We had the right angle. Okay.
I'm not getting hit in the tummy again.
Okay, guys.
I'm just not.
Oh,
Gonna
God.
count it down.
Oh, God.
3, 2, 1. It's caught! It's caught!
I got hit in the gut twice and then in the ass at the end.
Do you remember when he pointed it at... and he's...
Go ahead, Frost. What happened?
This next...
Go ahead, Frost. What happened?
I wanted it to jump the length of me, so the car was there, and I laid down, and Kasim said, "Hold on, we don't want to lose it."
And it took me 3 minutes to get the joke.
This next clip is from where we were lucky enough to be visited by the real Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Don't know why I had to...
Oh, golden boy.
Come out to play. No, I refuse. No. Bring him out. Oh! Let's go! Oh!
Do a spin. Jimmy, do a spin. Do a spin for us. Oh, my gosh.
Fabulous. You look
spin
fabulous,
kick.
honey.
Spin kick.
Do it. Do it.
Spin
Yeah,
kick.
yeah.
You know, the hair is supposed to be up in buns, but I'll let it slide.
Why do you have to walk so hench? Why can't you, like, I don't know, get into...
Yeah, give me
Look
a
at me.
give me a walk.
Come on.
I can't. I don't know how to walk in this. I feel it's breezy. It's too breezy.
Let's see her ultimate kick. Go.
Well, one thing
then
I am
pose.
really excited about, you know, they used to call me Thunder Thighs back in high school, because look at these bad boys right here. This is what you're paying for, everyone.
So I think we need to have like a poll. Who did Chun-Li the best? Me, GB, or Olivia Munn?
I'm gonna say that both of you are gonna lose that poll.
Oh.
We should have waxed him before the costume.
Nothing says esports like an obstacle course. And in this next clip, you're going to see just how well we did at it. Quick feet.
Okay, so guys, we didn't have a confidence monitor, so we couldn't actually see once someone run around the corner. We just had to, like, keep clapping.
Applaud. Oh, and then here's Frost after she fell off of her bike. Oh no, you broke your hip getting out of bed, right? One of the things. You're fragile. You cheated. You didn't even finish.
I didn't cheat. I couldn't run. I crashed my bike. I was going like 35 miles an hour around a corner and laid it down.
Nice excuse.
I got real messed up.
Excuses.
Guys, we were launch day on G4. I was in the upstairs bathroom, the one that I do like to poop in, and people were picking rocks out of my leg.
I think she faked it, guys. I think she fakes it. Absolutely faked it.
Okay, well, our next clip is from the time that Avali actually died.
Hold on, what?
Yeah.
Special news from the production truck. The loser, ladies and gentlemen, of this competition is none other than, drum roll in chat, please, that's just a lot of ones. Avali!
Yeah! It can't be me. No, we specifically said that it can't be me.
No,
right?
the chat said. The chat said.
Chat said it was you.
Definitely you.
Yep.
Every single time. I just want to go an entire show where I'm not voted off first. I don't lose first.
Those are the rules.
What's
You know, we don't make the rules.
I don't see any pies. I don't see any turkey costumes, though. What's the...
Yeah, actually,
what is
to suck.
I have no idea what it is.
Ah! Amelie!
Oh,
yeah!
Oh,
What?
gosh.
No!
No!
No, what?
Oh, my God, Amelie! She's mutilated!
Oh, God!
Fuck, I'm broken down!
Leave!
Gosh.
Amelie is out!
What?
She's
No,
out!
what is he doing? What is he doing?
Amelie! Amelie's out! Get out, Amelie!
Humanity! It's like voodoo. It's like a voodoo.
This was your fate today. Better luck next time.
Why am I so aroused?
No. What?
What?
This next clip is also from when someone actually died, but people cared less because it was our intern, Perry.
Okay, my turn.
Middle student?
All right.
I'm getting scared.
Out of hip rotation. Hey.
Much nicer. Excellent. Excellent job. And our youngling.
Okay.
Excellent.
What is this?
What is this?
It's on hip rotation.
No.
Excellent job. Now,
Don't get gift.
we have learned basic hand techniques. Now, I'm going to train you in the most devastating karate kick that you could possibly learn. As I was talking earlier, it's all in the hips. This is a hip movement kick. You're going to take your hips and put them through the target, all right? So I will demonstrate for you first. Turn the bag around. Intern Perry. Very nice. Now, imagine that your leg is a cannonball that you're going to fire directly through the target. Hands up, step behind, and kick. I'll demonstrate one time for you. Here we are.
I can do that.
Ready, Intern Perry? Don't forget your karate noise.
Yes!
Oh my God.
Okay.
Perry, get up.
Perry? Perry, you good?
He needs some milk.
Yo, is he? No, he don't need milk. He dead. He dead. Okay, guys. You know it's time for a commercial break. Yeah, right, guys. So when we get back, more Street Fighter in real life. We'll be right back.
Perry, get up. This is embarrassing.
We're gonna have a lawsuit. We're gonna have a lawsuit.
Did he ever get up?
I don't think he did.
Yikes.
We replaced him like they did with Avril Lavigne.
Her new music's a banger. And our final clip for this part of the show is from that time when Golden Boy and I showed the world just how esports we really are. Because we don't have a driver's license. Oh, no. Not this again.
You are done.
You're driving.
Now you're being dangerous.
She's driving
You're
away.
driving Charlie.
You failed the whole test.
This is why they don't let pseudo-Europeans who lived in China who come from Portland drive.
That's a long distance.
Pseudo-European.
Because let's be honest.
That's exactly who she is.
All right. Okay. Well,
Okay, congrats. You murdered a family.
You just hit a kid.
Yeah, a young immigrant family was just run over. They were dreamers. Thank you so much.
So.
All right. So GB.
This is not happening.
Okay. All you have to do. Listen. She got
is
0
the weight
points.
limit of this?
Can you stop trying to add numbers to everything, Frost? Can you just let him be?
Here we go.
Can you make an earnest attempt to sit in this, please?
Ay, santo Dios.
It's good.
Ay, yeah.
My Spanish boy.
Ay.
There's my Spanish boy.
Where's the buttons?
It's where the gas pedal is.
I have
Oh,
never
God.
seen
Oh,
plastic
God.
buckets.
Charlie, watch out, Charlie.
Me neither. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, God.
But
Why
the
is
motor
this?
is doing its best.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's still going
You
back.
have
Reverse.
You have to hold
You
it.
have to hold
That's
it.
how cars
This is-
work, Golden Boy.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Ay,
Oh,
santo.
Oh, no.
We're gonna have to clear the
Okay,
set.
all right,
Everyone,
yeah.
make room.
Back
Make
it up,
room.
baby.
all right.
Back it up.
Oh,
Okay.
this actually is not a
You're
bad
doing
approach.
good. You're doing good.
It's not a bad
Keep-
approach.
Keep it coming.
Careful.
Keep it coming.
I have
gotta hold
size
it.
12
Keep it coming. I'm in reverse, Terry.
More.
GB's ass.
Okay.
Careful.
Okay, almost cut in.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Okay.
You got an inch.
A little bit further.
Okay, a little bit further.
Stop it.
Why is the music so dramatic?
Okay. Now, if you were parked downhill, which way would you turn your wheels?
If you were
parked downhill. Okay, that's good. We'll accept that. Great.
He was 2 feet off the curb. He was literally parking in the middle of the road.
And yet, he somehow did better than you.
We're going to a commercial break.
Where are we going?
I will not have anything out of you. But don't worry, we've got more boosted clips when we come back.
Welcome to Attack of the Show.
Attack is back, and the critics are raving. Peepoo69 says, good enough. Fred Burst says, I've seen worse. JD187B4X says, reverse hair loss now with one simple trick. Click here. And Adam Sessler says, 5 out of 5. Catch the show the critics literally won't start talking about. Attack of the Show on G4 Select.
Fire soundtrack.
I know, right?
Okay. We've looked back on the first season, but what about the big news from all the other seasons? Let's take a look at some of the clips from those now.
Hey, wait, Rachel! Rachel! No, what are you doing, Rachel? You can't do that, you're a guest! Rachel! Rachel, oh God! Rachel, no! Rachel, no! Rachel! No, Rachel! Rachel, come back! Rachel, no, let the Pikachu go, Rachel! Rachel, let the Pikachu go! No, let the Pikachu go, Rachel! No, Rachel! No! Rachel! Pikachu! Yeah, you know who that was? You know who was driving the car?
Did I just watch someone get kidnapped?
Well, you watched a Poke-a-nap. That's for dang sure. You know who that was?
Who?
Remember when we had all those years ago Rachel Seltzer on our Pokemon episode?
Season 5.
Bitch stole my Pikachu.
She stole your...
Stole my Pikachu right from out of my Pokeball. I turn around, she's shoving him in the back of a car.
Boosted. Here. Live. First. The birth of Team Rocket. You saw it there.
Mm-hmm.
Our next clip is from the Esports Awards. Yes, I know. We can't believe they're still around either. But we did win one.
And the winner of the Esports Award for the best esports variety show with 3 hosts of different ethnic backgrounds that airs on a Wednesday afternoon is Boosted from G4. Congratulations. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, my gosh, it's such a shock. I never thought I'd be standing up on this stage again after winning eSport Award after eSport Award, but here we are, we did it. We made it, fam, and this one's extra special. You know why? Because it's not just about me. It's about the whole Boosted team. Avali and Frost, you guys are so incredibly talented, and I wish you were up here on this stage with me accepting this award. You know, it'll be crowded, and I'll still be the one holding the award, let's be honest here, but obviously it would be nice for the people to see you for like 10 or 15 seconds during this speech. And who could forget the other guys, the ones who work behind the scenes at Boosted to make this show a reality. I forget their names right now. I know that one of them gets me coffee and another one takes care of all of my trailers. But you know, this award is just as much theirs as it is mine. You know, obviously not just as much, but you know, whatever. But in fact, it's not really theirs at all. It's actually more mine than anything else. But you know, good for you guys. Good for you. Yeah, we didn't really think that we were gonna win today, so only had a small thing prepared real fast. Hold on a second, just give me a moment here. Okay, here we go. First up, God. We have to thank God. He's always like in the background doing stuff, we think. I've been told. Steven Spielberg. We gotta thank Steven because, you know, that's what everyone does at these things, right? You think Steven Spielberg, and then obviously there's Meryl Streep because we beat you, Meryl. Suck on that. And Jesus. You gotta thank Jesus. I think like he's like Steven Spielberg, but smaller. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And I want to thank my hairdresser, me. I shave my own head. I think I do a fabulous job of it. I also groom this nice beard. I mean, who else do we got? The Trey, obviously. I know, it's not time. No, you can't. No, it's my moment.
I can't believe they let him go on for that long.
I know. He got to talk way longer than Sonic Fox did.
I know, right? Huh. Injustice. Now, one of my favorite memories from the show was when Frost tried the obstacle course again. This time, not in a wheelchair, after she popped out her hip, getting out of bed like the old woman that she is.
Bad week.
Okay. What's she doing?
Manifesting.
What?
My tarot cards told me that I need to overcome my previous failures.
The cards told you all that?
Yeah, actually, her tarot cards are pretty good. Told me I might get my hair back one day.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not go that far. My cards told me that I need to overcome a previous failure. I didn't make these hurdles in episode 1 of Boosted, so now we're manifesting destiny.
All right, you know I'm always gonna support you in whatever you want to do, so go for it.
Okay. Back up!
You got this, Frosty. Get set. Go.
Go, Frost, go!
1, 2, yes!
Go,
oh my God, you elegant gazelle! Yes! Let's go, you magical squirrel! Yes! Yes! You did it. Good job. Good job.
Yeah!
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
What hurts? What's happening? Are you? Is it your leg?
Is it the leg again? Because you're 63. You can't do this again. Come on, get up, get up. All right, we're gonna get her right in here. It's okay. It's all right. The home will take you. They'll take you to the home.
Yeah, just put your feet up. Just relax. Give her that good shit.
Yeah.
You know that?
Right to the bloodstream. Yeah.
Okay, I can see why you think I look like an alpaca.
Yeah, right? Did you see how fluffy the hair got?
I just have surprisingly a lot of hair.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, most people think that I don't have a lot of...
Come here.
Yeah.
Let's look. Now, did you wash your hair recently? No. Nope, put your ass back down. Nope,
like
we're not touching
wash
that.
it.
Now, when you fell over again, did they give you that good shit?
You think my health insurance that is not given to me would cover that?
So anyways, Frost, what's the next clip?
What about that time Boosted was live when the big one finally hit Los Angeles and flattened the entire West Coast? Good times.
Hello, welcome to the Esports Update. I'm Frost, and this is Orange Juice May. Today, we're giving you the esports news by reading whatever the hell a writer puts in the prompter.
Just a reminder that we've never seen any of this before. We could have to read anything, even my horoscope for this month.
Lucky Jupiter lights up your house of pleasures this month, which is exactly what you want to hear. However, you can be your own worst enemy. So make sure you tip your therapist to help with all your past trauma. Don't let trust issues stop you from living the person of your dreams. When Mercury goes into retrograde, resist texting exes and remember that there are other beautiful freaks out there just like you all.
Oh, my leg!
But this isn't a show about filthy animals. It's about esports. And no bigger esports news has ever happened in the history of the esports world than this next story. It's so big, so important, so earth-shattering that it requires all this preamble just before we tell you what happened.
Oh, geez. Oh, gosh.
Massive earthquake strikes the G4 office.
Why? Because we're trying to build tension. We're trying to give this the gravitas that it deserves. And that esports news is... And still somehow, throughout all that, the desk survived.
It's made out of steel, I swear. That's good. The G4 will crash, that desk will still be here.
That desk can be used for so many things.
We did, we used it as a shelter.
Esports content.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. But who could forget the time the boosted car honked its last horn?
So I walked out of the bathroom and then I said, beep, beep.
Oh, that's good. Too good.
I am so glad that we all became friends.
I know. I love this little motley crew that we have together. It's great.
Oh, Pink Car, we just love you.
Thanks, everybody. I'm glad I finally got upgraded to full-time player status. The health benefits they're giving me are out of this world.
Do you get health insurance?
And not like car insurance?
There's benefits to working here?
What's the big deal? Did you guys not get health insurance? Now hold on, guys. Guys?
Kill him.
Drag his ass back over to the scrapyard.
Mess him up!
Ow! Watch it! I thought we were friends! Hey! Ow!
Yeah,
oh my
you
God!
fart on him!
Help! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Can you believe that asshole? He gets dental, and I'm stuck with this piece of shit.
Oh, I'm sure like a hammer and a chisel can fix some of it.
I don't know why it does that. It gets stuck on everything. My wife likes it, no one else does.
We could do some homemade braces.
I was thinking about it, but they're too expensive.
No, homemade braces.
What are we gonna make them out of?
I'm just gonna choose some, I'm sure there's like metal scraps around here somewhere, and then we'll just get like a soldering gun. Glue that thing into place. Are you trying to push it into place right now?
No, I think that there's something here.
I don't think the tooth.
Hold on.
Like food or another tooth?
Like a snack.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good. Save it for later. What are you finding?
That did not taste good.
Ooh.
Guys,
Is it a filling?
Oh, God. It's time for another commercial break, but when we come back, we're gonna find out what was behind my tooth and what happened to Golden Boy.
What's a tooth? What's a tooth?
Our story began in Waterdeep, the city of splendors, with a group of scoundrels.
You'll be completely safe with me.
I really do love you, but that was absolutely disgusting.
A spider the size of a horse.
I shouldn't have picked these bowls.
In battle with a black dragon wormlet.
You guys are happy.
Do we need to have a weekend wait. How do you do it without moving the rest of your face?
I don't know. You're moving your entire head, though.
Okay, wait, hold on. I can do this.
Okay.
Go to back.
Together. Oh, that was good. That was hot.
Yeah, you like that? You like that, Snaggletooth? Oh, I'll have a Lunchable behind it. Okay. What? It's a weird joke. They like corn. Okay, if you're on our Discord channel, which, by the way, you guys can join us over on our G4 TV Reddit or our Discord channel to get involved with this weird community that likes corn, bang, and Lunchables. You might have noticed that Golden Boy isn't with us on the show. Now, it's time to find out why, because the truth will shock you.
I think I remember it going a little something like this.
What's up, GB? Oh, you know, I dropped my wallet underneath the giant controller and I can't reach because of my old, frail body. You mind helping a pal out?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes. Of course.
No, that's exactly how it went.
That's really weird because my memory is a little bit different. I thought it went something like this.
You know, man, I got a bone to pick with you. I never felt like I was utilized properly on this show.
What do you mean?
Judo chow! That's right. Now you're gonna learn. No! Dressed me up as Chun-Li when we could have made many Halo videos. Suck it, stupid noob.
To be fair, I do think Liam had it coming.
I mean, I don't believe that that's what happened because Golden Boy would never say something so crass as suck it.
Why would you say suck it? We're not allowed to say suck it on linear television.
What else can't we say on linear television?
Something about buttholes.
You can't say buttholes.
Can't say suck it.
Can't say suck it, so you can't say suck it buttholes.
Suck it buttholes.
Butthole suck it?
I can't keep doing it.
Guys, I'm on the run right now. I'm in Texas, and listen, I didn't kill Liam. I just wanted to clear my name on the 10th anniversary of Boosted. Okay, just take a look at this. Hey, Liam, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Boy?
Hey, wanted to give this to you. Obviously, I know how hard you've been working, and look, I know things get crazy around here. We tend to make fun of your belt a lot.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, your big-ass ears, right? You know,
what?
Dumbo, right, flying around. We said that a few times as well. And we really don't invite you to the meetings because you have, like, this really bad BO. But beyond that, I mean, dude, we love you, and I just figured, why don't we pop this champagne together for friendship?
I mean, I got nothing else going on, so let's
yeah, of course
do it.
you don't. Let's do this. Oh, God, Liam. No. This is... maybe this will help. Oh, he's convulsing! Oh, Liam! No! Oh, he's dead. Oh, I gotta get out of here! Oh! You see, guys, I told you I did nothing wrong, or I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that. I mean, look at me, right? I'm the face of an angel, global icon, national treasure. Guys, remember Retribution? Wasn't it so fun? It was so fun, wasn't it? Believe me. Gotta run, though. The cops are coming.
Oh, shit, he's Puerto Rican. He's never making it out.
Yeah, in Texas when everyone's heavily armed, too, and in a little sketch on the racism side.
Oh, that's a big bummer for GB and Liam. Oh. You'd think that in the future they'd get rid of commercials, but no, we still have them. And after this break, we're going to GTFO.
Welcome to another episode of Name Your Prize. We got a new game show coming to G4.
What the hell is a G4?
It's about things that you buy on the internet.
We're bringing a lot of people along for the ride. Isn't she gorgeous? And him, too.
That's something everybody can enjoy.
Look at this guy. He's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. His wife left him. He sucks at everything. He's nothing. He's a good-for-nothing piece of shit.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to GTFO. Now, we're going to throw up a poll, and you get to vote one last time. Which of us is getting voted off? While this is the... Hold on a second. Hold on. What's up with this poll, Frosk? I don't like where this poll is going.
Oh, we know where this poll is going. Now, while this is the end of Boosted, the talent and team behind their show aren't going anywhere. We're going to be doing more tournaments, basement streams, more ridiculous sketches, partner content, and surprise co-streaming events. I do want to continue, though. I do want to say, though, that G4 and Boosted is made by everyone. And I do want to give an incredible shout out and huge thank you to all of our crew behind us. You guys can't see them, but you can definitely hear them and you definitely feel them. They always grab all of our correct shots, they make the show funny, they put it all together. We are simply just the puppets that dance because of everything that they do. So thank you guys so much.
I think that our producers are just okay. Because what is this? What is this? Wait, is this the loophole? Is this how we keep doing Boosted? Because technically now only I have to GTFO, so now the rest of the Boosted gets to say 3 more years? 3 more years of Boosted?
3 more years!
3 more years! 3 more years! Yeah!
To be honest, babe, you are Boosted, so.
Do you mean that in the esports way? Because that's an insult.
No, I mean that, and that we can't go on without you.
I love you.
I love you too,
I love you. I love you so much. Now, for everyone else, get ready for all of the cool things that we're going to be doing. You need to tune in, and as always, let us know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching, and thanks for watching Boosted, everyone.
Suck it!
See you soon.
So have you guys played Elden Ring yet?
No, it intimidates me, but I actually have been finishing up the Tenrai event in Halo.
Sounds like an STD.
Horizon Forbidden West, but I hate Zoe and Varl now.
That also sounds like an STD.
Definitely an STD.
I feel like there's way too many games right now. Like, I actually feel overwhelmed with all of the choices.
Hey guys, I need your lunch orders ASAP.
Oh,
Here's some options, let me know what you choose.
Oh,
this is easy.
That's easy.
Yeah, I choose meat.
Salad.
Smoothie.
Okay, hold up, guys. Where is your protein? How are you gonna stay full all day? It's the clear best option.
You have a salad because it's light and it sits in your belly nice. If I'm full of protein, guess what? That means protein-filled poops, and no one wants a protein-filled poop.
I want that!
A smoothie is the closest thing to a mimosa.
No.
What? Do we?
You need a helper.
We need to have a talk.
Smoothie, 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 smoothie.
So, did we make a decision?
Smoothie.
Did we decide on it?
Steak beats salad, salad beats smoothie, but smoothie beats meat. Beats meat?
And boosted beats everything, and it starts right now.
We need you on set in 5 minutes.
I won that exchange. Welcome back, everyone, to Boosted! This week, oh, come. You know, you just can't have nice things around here. This week, we're blasting into a Pokemon-themed episode of the show, and we have my dear close friend Rachel Seltzer-Quirico joining us in the studio today. We are going to be talking about literally all things Pokemon. Unite, Arceus, Scarlet, Violet, Lemon, Lime, the whole lot and more. 2 of those things aren't actually Pokemon things. Anyway, but now it's time for your favorite segment of the show. It is the Esports Update.
I don't like these.
All I'm going to say, Paul, is you had one job to open up the script with Ready for Trouble. And then you do the...
Make it double?
Yeah. Today, okay.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Esports Update. I'm Frost. This is Yorale Hee-hoo May. And today we're giving you the esports news by reading whatever our writer puts in the prompter.
Just a reminder that we've never seen any of this before. We could have to read anything. Even this quote from V for Vendetta.
Oh, it's good.
I love that one. The only verdict is vengeance. A vendetta held as a votive, not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous verily. This, oh no, viciosity of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it is my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.
Wow.
But this isn't a show about Frost's V for vagina. It's about esports. And what could be more esports than having Nintendo pull out of you?
Oh, wow.
That's what EVO, or the Evolution Championship Series, found out last week when Nintendo said that they no longer wanted to Smash.
Ooh. It's just too many innuendos, man.
After a history going back all the way to 2007, Super Smash Bros. Will not be coming back to EVO 2022, disappointing FGC fans everywhere. Maybe it's because EVO was purchased by Nintendo's nemesis, Sony, or that Nintendo is partnering with Panda to bring us another Smash circuit. We don't know, but what we do know is that there is no guarantee the pull-out method works. And we might find EVO with a little bit Nintendo baby in 6 to 9 months.
That's way too many sex jokes.
6 months?
So many.
Ross, I thought it takes 9 months.
Is that how babies work?
How do...
Well, because the storks come in.
Oh, the storks.
Stork them on.
I still don't...
I don't know. Now our next story has nothing to do with esports, but our writer doesn't care. That's because the 9th generation Pokemon games have been announced, and we're back to colors! None of this sword and shield bullshit, and not just any colors. We're getting stripper colors with Scarlet and Violet.
No, you gotta say it with a dulcet tone. You gotta say, Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet next time on Boosted.
Nailed it.
The most exciting thing, I didn't make that joke, it was so close. The most exciting thing about these games isn't the fact that they're open world and Pokemon Arceus was legit just a beta test for them, nor is it the fact that it looks to be set in a Spanish-inspired region, meaning that no one will be able to play the game between 2 and 5 p.m. because everyone will be asleep. It's these magnificent starter Pokemon.
Gaze upon the majesty of these beautiful creations. You've got your grass kitty, or bush pussy, if you will.
No.
Then you've got a fire crocodile who looks like he's wearing a funny hat, but the hat is just his face. And finally, they hit you with this dapper duck named Quoxley. They even described him as an earnest and tidy duckling, which is just about the cutest thing ever written, and we can't wait to quack mother with him.
Okay.
What's just as good as these fabulous starter Pokemon is the fact that our writer used his crystal ball to schedule our Pokemon episode this week, and we booked Rachel Seltzer as our guest, so we can talk all about it later on in the show.
Yeah, it really does make up for him writing all those jokes about Ukraine last week and then having a war break out literally an hour or 2 after the show went live.
Yep,
and while we felt it was important for us to acknowledge war and how vehemently we are against it, we also felt like it was important to do the same thing we do every week and make jokes at Avali Amai's expense. Because, let's face it, I look like cheese you found in the back of the refrigerator after 6 months, and if Avali's eyes were any further apart, she'd be an iguana.
I'm glad I'm not in this one.
He got you good. Zoom in on my eyes. Are they that? Here, zoom.
I know, you're fine, Avali.
I want to know.
Someone should just Photoshop it and just Photoshop the eyes.
Wait. Okay. And on the topic of jokes, let's talk about TSM, who are off to the worst start of an LCS season. These guys went from making every single finals to every single playoffs to coming dead last. Reggie once commented on Reddit that he would never let himself become CLG and that he would sell his house, his car, his clothes, his everything to buy talent at that point. Well, Reggie, if you weren't so short, I'd actually be thinking about getting some secondhand clothes right now because you just got spanked by CLG. And I'm not even talking about the good kind of spanking. Huh? The kind of spanking that hurts just enough to let you know that he still cares. Watching TSM has just been straight up painful this split. And if I didn't get so much dopamine from watching them lose, then I might actually feel sorry for them. And while we're here, we'd like to call out Valve for their shady business practices. Not only have they tricked me into buying dozens of games on sale and then leave them to rot in my Steam library, they're now using old people to deliver their Steam decks.
For shame.
Just this week, they had Gabe Newell hand-delivering them around Seattle. This man is 59 years old. That's 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
His knees are too weak to be walking around Seattle delivering Steam decks. It's all uphill. This is the cruel and harsh reality of capitalism, people. If Gabe doesn't have enough money to retire comfortably, then we're all going to be working into our graves. And speaking of the woes of capitalism, fart jars. Yes, we finally made it to the point where Amaranth is selling her farts in jars and charging $1,000 for it, which, for anyone playing along at home, is about 100,000 rubles. Rubles?
Rubles.
It's the Russian currency since their economy got cratered by sanctions. Rubles at the time of writing this. But who knows where the ruble will be 30 seconds from now? The real question we have about these fart jars is, how does she capture the fart? Now, the agility required to fart into the jar and then adequately seal it is too much for one person. The fart would simply escape the jar. That means to assure quality control, there is actually someone out there who has the job of capturing Amaranth's farts. And our intern Liam volunteers as tribute. The only joke...
He's on the side, which makes it even better. And it's also true.
Liam, look at that magnificent pussycat. The only joke in our next story is my haircut. It's my Princess Diana look.
It's fluffy.
Isn't it nice? I haven't washed it. No. That's because we're talking, that's because we're talking about Ukrainian esports org Navi breaking off with cooperation with Russian organization eForce Holdings, who are the owners of Virtus Pro, Cybersport.ru, and more. Now, Navi claims that eForce have publicly denied what is happening in Ukraine, which they say is inhumane. CSGO League, Blast, have also stated that no Russian-based orgs will be allowed to play in their events for the foreseeable future. And speaking of CSGO, it's time for another SteelSeries moment of glory. And what could be more glorious than clutching it out when your team is on the brink of defeat? Because that's what Brokey did when FaZe took on Navi at IEM Katowice in the group stage. Let me set the scene. FaZe and Navi are tied with one map apiece. It's overtime, and then Brokey steps up and does something like this.
Eat it. Click. He's still alive somehow. Arrogant trying to get the better of him. Perfecto bails him out. Twist also falls. The Perforator putting a hole in this B site. FaZe, though, in answer. They've got man advantage, and this one's not done yet. Perfecto's got that third, and he's just looking for what's left. It's only Brokey to remain. He comes around the corner, and he's going to answer with just a little bit more, and a Molotov will buy such crucial amounts of time. Smoke atop of it, and Brokey, with hands no longer busy, fades away, his trusty op in hand.
Oh my God.
We know he can clutch, but right now it's his headshot for FaZe, and we go again.
No way. No way he clutches with that Deagle. Another overtime to go because of that.
Damn.
Not only did Brokey save FaZe from defeat, but he also sent the match into a second overtime.
And while FaZe would eventually go on to lose the match, Brokey's clutch made FaZe go down in flaming glory. And they would go on to win the whole tournament. That's why it's this week's Steel Series Moment of Glory.
Woo! All right, and that's all the time we have left in this esports update. And let me tell you, it was a loaded one. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Because when we return, we're talking all the Pokemans.
I want to be the very best.
I didn't realize there would be actual applause.
Yes! Life-changing.
That's all you do in this game. Graphics and what have you. Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games gets a 5 out of 5.
So I have a question.
Am I considered a classic?
Zelda!
Oh.
Welcome back, friends. We've got an absolute legend in the world of esports joining us here. A dear friend of mine, a roommate as well, back in those days, remember that? And also probably one of the most important voices I think we have in the space. It's Seltzer joining us today, folks. She's also a certified Pokemon expert, and we're going to be talking about all things Pokemon, esports, and the newest announcement for Gen 9. Rachel, how you doing?
Do you have the vest? Or?
Dude, I did actually, and I'm a little sad that we didn't have the opportunity to match.
Why didn't we call? We could have
You could have called me. I have
missed opportunity.
The gloves. Do you have the gloves? Where are the gloves?
No,
Yeah, I had my Team Rocket outfit, short crop top. You know, we should have coordinated better.
Jesse and James, queer icons. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
So, Rachel, for people who don't know you at home, I know I gave you your flowers at the beginning of it, but, you know, tell our G4 audience about you. And, yeah, why are you here?
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, like, I don't know. Like, everything is so nice to me today. It's my birthday. I'm doing
It's
a
her
Pokemon
birthday!
show. It's Rachel's birthday! But, like, there's a creepy context to it because everything's, like, so nice and people are giving Pokemon conversation. Like, are you guys going to kill me, like, ritually at the end of the show? Like, is this, like, where I peak and then I die?
No, but I probably will get waxed later on today.
I did hear that's on the table. That's very exciting.
Is it your face or a leg?
We'll decide it as we get there. But yes, Rachel is a
I was going to intro myself.
Yeah, Rachel's a veteran in the space, right? You've been a part of broadcast after broadcast. You were there for the early days.
Esport.
Yeah, the early days of League of Legends, hosted for the PUBG League, early days of Overwatch with me. Like, we were all, I mean, yeah.
The early days of pre-Twitch when we used to go to the, what was that, the Samsung experience at the top of the building at Washington Square in New York City, and, like, just talking to a microphone to, like, the 40 people that would walk in the store. Like, esports was dark days before it started.
She was also in a reality show.
Listen, yeah, I'm a bit of a...
Now, you had my attention.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, there was a WCG, World Championship Series. I talk professionally. You'd think I'd be able to get a word out. I'm terrible. The WCG World Championship Series
Ultimate Gamer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. You were a contestant on the show with like Justin Wong, CDN.
Faye Mata, Cat Gun.
Yeah,
Cat Gun. Actually, spoiler if you haven't seen it, won the show. Now you don't have to watch it. Don't worry.
Yeah, you don't have to see Rachel get eliminated by Pac-Man.
The dots are just in front of me. Do the ghosts. Like, why would you do that?
Let's talk about Pokemon esports, because we have a lot of goodness that's coming down the pipeline. And even more so that our very own Frost is going to be competing in the Pokemon Unite Championship, which is bonkers and awesome. And we're cheering Sucker Bunch on to win the whole team. Yeah, team, was it?
Glitch.
Team Glitch to win the whole thing.
Our new sponsor. Team Glitch Energy.
Yeah. Oh, now thinking about like Pokemon esports, right? Because Pokemon is such a storied franchise. It's been around for such a long time. But competitively speaking, it's one of those esports that like I don't want to say it's been in the background, because it's very much been front and center. It's just that when you compare it to the League of Legends of the world and the Dotas of the world and Counter-Strike, it doesn't get that media attention. But Frost, I mean, like clearly there is something here, because thousands of people compete in Pokemon VGC, TCG, Unite, now Pokemon Go. There's so much.
Yeah, and the Pokemon World Championships is a collection of all of those games where people come around to watch them be broadcast. You have various different walks and creeds of life that all go through Pokemon. It kind of shows that Pokemon attracts audiences of every type of background.
There's a lot in there.
As far as kind of the esports thing, the thing is that Nintendo hasn't always been the most friendly to esports. We see that with kind of the latest EVO announcements, but maybe something's on the horizon. And Pokemon has also kind of been one of those more closed-off companies. And when you're like the wealthiest company of them all in gaming, Pokemon, who has just like this IP worth billions, you don't necessarily have to really bend over backwards. You can play by your own rules. But I will say that, especially coming from a Unite background, I have been so impressed. So many people were looking at Unite as a MOBA and being like, this is dead on arrival because it's Pokemon and Nintendo. There's no way they let an esports thrive here. But there's been so many elements that have been implemented into the game, which the game's only been out just over a year if you include beta, such as a gorgeous spectator mode, a tournament mode that allows you to have everything unlocked, all the items at level 30, so completely erasing the pay to win, if you will. And it really seems that they've made a lot of quality of life and UI changes specifically for esports and the competitive element, which gives me a ton of hope going forward. So do I think it's going to be the next tier 1 esport? No, but I do think that there has been a really big surge of, hey, there is actually a really healthy competitive grassroots community here. Why don't we service them?
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about Pokemon, is that for a lot of people, it's very much going to be their first foray into esports. I mean, we had that young lady who won the VGC championship,
8 years
right?
old she won,
yeah.
She was so cute.
Well, and it's interesting for us to hear like the kind of like inside esports perspective on where Pokemon has been competitively over the years, because Pokemon has been, if I hold two things in my life, it's that I love Pokemon and I love esports. And for me, they've kind of always been intertwined. It was my first tournament experience back in the day when I would go to Toys R Us and I would play in the Pokemon League. And we'd play the trading card game. You'd bring your Game Boy game and you would trade. That's how you get the official Mew back in the day. All sorts of things you could do. And so competitive gaming was, that was my first competition, my first bracket, my first victory, my first pack of cards that I won. There was a Charizard in there. It was like, I thought I peaked that day, but I live on today to talk about it.
To this day, that was still the most happiest day.
Dunking on an 8-year-old in Toys R Us by ripping open a foil Charizard in a pack, like,
best experience.
It's in there. It's a logged core memory. And Pokemon has done that for me and for so many people over the years. And it's been interesting that as I've gone into esports, as I've gone into competitive gaming, I've constantly looked like, where is Pokemon? Where is this perfect game that is all about competition and that is not only about competing, fighting, trying to win these tournaments, badges, win the league, but also be an upstanding competitor, talk about how to engage with your fellow competitors in a tournament. I thought it would have a lot to add to the conversation. So I'm really excited now to see finally this intersection between mature esports, the MOBA game they have with Pokemon Unite, with the crowd that's going to come in, and all the goodness that is in Pokemon. I'm very sincerely, truly in love with this IP. And even though it is the highest earning IP in the world, it feels still righteous. And
so it feels wholesome to you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they've just done a brilliant job of like, you know, continuing to just let everyone feel like very welcomed in Pokemon, right? And like all aspects of Pokemon now are as far as like the titles that are out, are going to be considered for competition. Pokemon Go is one of the options, which I know you're very big into Pokemon Go. You've almost got us into many accidents in the street because of Pokemon Go.
You should not follow me when I'm walking in a city, Alex.
I'm not lying to you.
That's on you.
Yeah, we were doing X Games, and I was like, Rachel, take us to the restaurant. She's like, okay. She like had her phone out. She's like walking. We were walking the complete opposite direction.
Walks into traffic, a shiny.
Because she saw that there was a place where she could, what is it, the Pokestop or whatever. Oh my goodness. How does Pokemon Go competitively work? Because that's something I didn't really know much about because I don't play the game that much.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I actually hosted a tournament for Twitch Rivals that pit different Pokemon Go competitors together. And it was sort of a two-part competition, which I thought was really interesting because there's two features that go into competitive Pokemon Go. There's getting a Pokemon that's going to perform really well in a battle, which when you look at their HP, their attack, their defense values, you're going to want to get a certain measurement there. It's very specific. Google it. It's very enriching. Go nuts. But they would go out and they went out in the world and they went to catch these certain Pokemon, and then they took them back and they worked on building teams. You build a team of 3. You send out 1v1 in a battle, and then you tap away on your fast moves and you build up a charge attack. And the timing of the charge attacks, the timing of your shield use, the moves you choose to take into battle, and of course the quality of the Pokemon you take into battle all affect your ability to execute. And it actually ends up really intense because you're physically tapping. Yeah. So you're getting like these really like heart-pounding moments. I'm looking forward to someone being able to showcase that in a really compelling way because it's an exciting battle.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing people hunched over on a table just...
Listen,
just go
I've got a lot of mobile games.
I could go faster, but my arm, it's old age and the tendonitis is creeping up on me. So, I guess shifting the focus though, right? Because now, Gen 9 was such a surprise. From the Pokemon resident expert. Did you? This is her. Avali's got this. She's got that.
Oh, so Rachel, this is my big goose energy. When I want to talk, I just get bigger and bigger until somebody lets me talk. I'm sorry.
Okay, so did you know that we were supposed to get this?
I was blindsided. So I will say this. I try not to look for spoilers. Pokemon Legends Arceus is out. I just recently reached...
Is it Arceus or Arceus?
Arceus. If you're watching a subtitled thing, they're saying Arceus in the Japanese, but it's an ARC phone. It's Arceus in the...
Okay. I
didn't know. And if you want to fight me about it, my address is...
So, yeah, so we didn't know anything about this. It kind of came out of nowhere. But what was your...
I'm fighting with Avali.
I know, Avali's over there doing... Okay, Avali, just there he goes. There she is. Oh, no, this is happening.
Arceus! Like Arceus! Oh, yeah? You and your arse phone?
My arse
phone. Call me on your arse phone?
Yeah, God's gonna... Get out of here! It's my segment!
Can I yell at her? Am I allowed to yell?
Yeah, you're totally allowed to yell at Avali. I mean, I don't yell at Avali, but,
What?
I think Frost does it on the
Production's in on it, sorry.
So, Gen 9, what can people expect from this? Because I thought that it was just another game in the mainline series. I didn't know that it was an open world game.
It said open world. People are saying that it's going to be closer to Sword and Shield, which I didn't play Sword and Shield. The last one I played was Black and White before doing Arceus. So when I played Arceus, I was like, wow, these are some great quality of life improvements. I still felt that the world was super empty, and you guys can go watch the review on X-Play. Essentially, it boils down to if you're going to make a Pokemon game entirely about collecting Pokemon versus competing with Pokemon, it's not necessarily my joy for it because I want it to be the very best that no one ever was.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Scarlet and Violet will go back to having those core mechanics. It does say things like having gym leaders. I thought that was really missing from Arceus, but I would love for them to build upon kind of what Arceus has brought out in that open world element with more Pokemon in the world, with more animations, with them doing more things. I don't know how Pokemon Snap can look so beautiful, and then Pokemon Arceus looks like PS1
Well, they're different games.
It's on the rails. It's the rails.
Yeah, but even just the animations. The thing is, the reason why I was so upset with Arceus is they have a couple of animations. There's this one.
Okay.
This is honestly this is good. There's
and then they do
kinds of Pokemon fans.
This is good for you. This is good for you, Rachel. Okay.
But I want them to be playing around and splashing in puddles, or trying to mount each other, or just literally doing.
No, we don't want because the kids.
Listen, we're just getting to the point where the game is acknowledging the Pokemon can hurt you. As a 26 long year fan of Pokemon, this to me this is the beautiful game. This is 22 people on a muddy pitch.
Rachel, we can do so much better!
I don't don't care. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. They gave me one of the best gaming experiences of my life, and I did not expect this game to come out, and it is so can I say the F word? Perfect. I can't even tell you, like, I look at that textured terrain, and I'm just like, my God, like, thank you.
You're like, you look like something that I threw up 2 weeks ago.
Like, just so you know, guys, Rachel's from Jersey, so you know she's suppressing her F-bomb a lot.
That actually
right now.
makes so much sense that she thinks Arceus is beautiful.
Why?
Because Jersey.
Oh no! Oh no! I think we're in deep doo-doo now. Oh my gosh, she's gonna put her through a table. Oh no!
I just want to talk. Where are you going, Frost? I just want to talk about New Jersey.
Hey,
New Jersey, listen, we keep that perimeter. That's a defensive perimeter. So none of those people from New York or Philadelphia come in because you get to the center of New Jersey.
You know what? We're gonna go ahead and sort this out. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back,
it's a beautiful.
We're playing the Pokemon TCG. We're playing the TCG. Don't go anywhere. These two are gonna fight. Violence in the studio.
Hello, adventurer! I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw you from afar.
Would you rather have eternal happiness for the rest of your life or die?
Mood lighting. Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. Did you know that Pokemon cards aren't just for unboxing videos and streams and to sell them to people randomly on the internet? No, there's actually a game that you can play with those. And we've got Sulta here to show us how. And I also, fun fact, I got into the Pokemon TCG during quarantine. Nice. Because I like playing card games randomly. And I was like, this seems fun. So me and Uber, as a matter of fact, from the Overwatch League, we were like, okay, let's learn this together. And then that's kind of how it all came about. So like, this is the first time I'm playing a physical game of Pokemon in person. Oh. I've only ever played online on TCG Live.
Wow, so. Welcome, what an occasion. Well, this will be an even match because I, again, have been playing Pokemon games, TCG, for 26 years now. Played at the leagues at Toys R Us. Had a bit of an off period ranging from, I would say, 8 to like 23 years. So
are you trying to sandbag right now?
No, I'm just trying to do that thing where boys lay out all their excuses before they play you an Xbox. I'm like, I don't like this map. You don't have this unlocked, and this controller's a little wonky. But let's go. Yeah. So if I lose,
and my back, and then the sun was in it. Yeah. So a few important things to know here. We're using V battle decks. You know, they're not like they're not meta decks. If you want to check out all updates on like Pokemon TCG and stuff, I highly suggest checking out resources like PTCG Radio, Frosted Caribou. These are all great creators that teach individuals how to play Pokemon. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. We drew 7 cards out of the gate and go.
What is how do you win?
So you win the game by knocking out your opponent's Pokemon. And each time you knock out a Pokemon, you take a prize card. The goal of the game is to basically clear out all of your prize cards.
So, but the thing is that are prize cards always set, or is these just 6 random cards from your deck?
6 random cards from your deck.
But what if you pull one of your really strong favorite cards into your, and you can't play these?
That's a possibility. So you have to have backups and plans for that. You have to have contingency plans. Because what's really cool about building Pokemon decks is that the game plays literally the same way that the video game does. One Pokemon's in the active position, and then the rest of them are in your bench, right? So we'll go ahead and we put our Pokemon in the active position. We didn't flip a coin, but
yeah, we were gonna grab a coin.
I totally forgot to grab the coin. I think they're both sides. It's fine. Rach, you could go first.
Me?
Yes.
That sucks. I'm gonna go first. I can't attack.
Okay, fine.
Right,
I'll go first. I'll go first.
I'll go first.
All right.
But if I lose, I'm blaming going first.
Wait, did you pull Lugia again?
I did. Yeah. Because I have multiple Lugias in here. So you can run. So you can play a basic Pokemon.
Okay.
If you do not have a basic Pokemon in your hand to play, you have to. It's called a mulligan. You have to reshuffle and then redraw.
Can we get the overhead camera?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that'd be really helpful.
Okay, and can you point at GBs really quick?
Yeah. So here you can see, and I'll try and see if I can get it a little closer for you guys. But right here, right, it'll list basic. That means that this is a Pokemon that you can play right out of the gate. Lugia, despite it being a legendary Pokemon, is a Pokemon that you can play right away. So there we go.
And chat says, are these pre-built decks?
These are pre-built. These are the Noivern and the Rayquaza V-Battle decks. So they're pre-built. I didn't have time to build a deck. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm also I build meme decks. I don't really build. Yeah.
I was gonna bring like my deck from like Pokemon League at Toys R Us and have you go against like my Articuno.
Yeah.
Like, and it's half Japanese cards and like I would make up what they did. So
oh no.
I really would have won that one.
All right. So you're playing your bench. You're going first, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Well, I can't attack because it's the first turn for me, and I cannot attack, and I cannot play trainer cards as well. Correct.
Yes, and you also, you can play items, I believe, but
is it because you can't attack because his Pokemon technically hasn't been put out yet?
Technically,
Kinda,
yeah. It's like a kind of a way to just allow people to catch up. So I'll go. So you're passing.
It's the end of my turn. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I will place an energy. You can only place 1 energy per turn on Pokemon unless indicated by the card, right? But this deck is not that advanced, so we're just going to place 1 energy.
What does the energy do?
The energy allows you to be able to attack, right?
So you have to have an energy to use your attack?
Correct. But
and so it's indicated which attack you can use. So you have Gust and Energy Loop on this card, but you need 3 energies to use Energy Loop.
That's right.
And 1 energy to use Gust.
Correct.
Can you place an energy and attack in the same turn, or do you have to have it set up first?
I think because it is second turn, I can attack first. But you know, in the sake of kindness and competition, I will not.
What kind of fair game is that? Hit me.
Okay, fine. Someone just said to
hit me.
Yeah, mess her up. So okay, so there we go.
Cool. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, so 30 damage with my Gust onto your Pokemon. So that was your turn. So I attacked. That's my turn.
I just want to check something right down there. Lugia. Lugia is a water and a flying type, right?
Lugia. So
it says weakness ×2, lightning, resistance, ground -30.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that each card, like there could be different versions of the same Pokemon. You can have, and those versions of Pokemon can actually have different attributes, which is actually kind of cool. Like you can have a Pokemon that would traditionally be a water Pokemon, but then that version of the card is psychic.
It's like an alpha Pokemon.
Yeah, so you could just, they take some liberties, right, with things, but it's pretty fun.
So I use Gym Trainer to draw 2 cards, and none of them were energy, so you get to go again.
Okay, so I go now? All right, cool.
So what if you never draw an energy? Does that mean that you're just basically taking it until you draw one?
Yes.
Okay. Can you discard cards? Like if you decide that you don't like cards, can you put them in the trash pile?
You can discard cards as an action for other cards in your hand.
How many times and how many cards?
Which one? Only if you have cards that allow you to discard.
So you could actually just be stuck with the same hand until he kills that Pokemon.
Yes, but there are ways to refresh your deck, and that is where item cards come in. Item and support cards are very, very important. You can play as many item cards as you want per turn, but you can only play 1 support card. Rachel, could you pass me the support card you played on the discard pile?
There you are.
So this Gym Trainer card is a support card. Okay, there it is. You see how it has the red text at the top right? But then this card is an item card. So you can play this one once and it's done. But this card, you can play it. And if, let's say, I had another energy search in my deck, I could play another energy search if I wanted to. I could play as many of these as I have available to me. And you can only have a certain amount available per deck. So, all right. I'm playing Energy Search, so I'll put that in my discard pile. I'm going to search my deck for basic energy card, reveal it, and put it into your deck. Then I shuffle the deck. So
that seems pretty OP. Do you like load your deck with that type of card?
You can if you want. There are ways for you to be able to search for energy.
Is there a limit to how many energies or these types of cards that you can have in a deck? Like, can you only have like 6 Lugias?
4, I believe. You can only have 4 of those versions, but you don't want to overload, right? A good Pokemon deck contains a lot of items and support cards, not a lot of energy cards, and a few key supporter Pokemon cards that can do things from the bench, and then some of your primary attackers. So there's like kind of a meta built around it. And with the different types of cards like Pokemon Vs or EX, cut that, you know, you can get some really, really wonky combinations. It's quite fascinating. And like metas change all the time. And what's really, really cool about the Pokemon TCG is that the quality of the card is not tied to like value. Because in Pokemon, collectors put value toward Charizards and Pikachus and Eevees. Those aren't traditionally the meta cards. So it's actually kind of cool. Like you can get the Zacian V battle deck was a $15 deck, and you can legitimately swap out 1 or 2 cards, walk into tournaments, and win with that deck. That's like how accessible the TCG is. All right, so I did an energy here, and I'm going to attack your Pokemon for 30 more damage.
Ouch.
Your Pokemon's almost dead.
Oh, well, Pokemon, they only faint in battle. They get knocked out.
They only
and then they go back to the resort.
That's right. They go to the resort.
The farm.
They're being chillin', don't worry.
There's these little chips guys that we have that they had like on a little plastic thing, and they have different damage numbers on them. So there's like 100, 50, and 10. And so she's got 60 damage on her Pokemon with 70 HP.
There we go.
All right.
Nailed it.
We used to use, you ever look at like a vase where somebody has like the fake flowers stuck in, it's full of all those little glass beads? We used to use those as damage counters.
That's right.
We used to walk around with those in a little sack.
Yeah, like one was like 10 or whatever. Yeah, I
they did
remember
real
that.
damage.
I used to do that when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Funny enough.
I don't know this game.
Okay.
We do not say its name here.
Shadow Realm with you. I play a supporter card, and this one's Sonia. So Sonia's going to let me look in my deck for 2 basic Pokemon or up to 2 basic energy cards, which I really, really, really need right now. So we're going to find those.
Yeah, guys, as a commentator right now, I'm going to say that my professional opinion is that Rachel's getting a little bit screwed here because she simply has no bullets for her gun. I mean, it's kind of what's going on, right? And there are certain cards that will allow you.
Don't worry.
It's
fine. Don't worry. Rayquaza's on the bench.
If Rayquaza's on the bench, you're good.
Yeah, Jamie had one rule. He's like, do not shuffle with Rayquaza.
Yeah, just don't do the casino shuffle with Rayquaza. That's about it. But honestly, it's perfectly fun. I'm dying.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, he says. So I'm looking at Chinchou here, and Chinchou's probably not going to make it another round. So I'm going to take a look at my energy, which I can only place 1 of per turn, and we're going to maximize that by sticking it on my Rayquaza.
There we go.
Now, you know a lot about the cards, Alex, but you can sit here and I can tell you lore.
Oh my God.
You want to know any Pokemon lore? You want to know about Rayquaza and the Draconids? You want to know
lore of Lugia?
The lore of Lugia?
It's Lugia.
Lugia. Oh, the lore of Lugia is expensive. Created by Takeshi Shudo, one of the original writers for the Pokemon animated series. Really adventurous and interesting guy, and came up with Lugia. Kind of had carte blanche to write this character and the second movie, which was Pokemon the movie 2000.
That's right.
Under several titles there, but Lugia is meant to represent sort of a coming together, a nature spirit. He vastly regretted allowing it to have a male voice actor. He thought it was kind of like a non-binary, kind of a female-coded character in the end, so that was interesting.
Yeah, his voice actor in the movie is like super deep too.
Yeah, and you see a lot of Lugia, and then like in the last couple minutes, he's like, "Hey, bro," and you're like, "Whoa, you can talk the whole time." Like,
he's like Mufasa. He's like,
All right, so we're gonna keep playing, and we're gonna run through. It was very interesting.
If you keep talking, I'm gonna lose. So
I thought it was interesting. Can we please get a lore master spam in the chat? That'd be very appreciative. Rachel, the lore master. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna finish up this demo, and when we come back, we're gonna show you how to turn your cute Pokemon into killing machines in Pokemon Unite. Don't go anywhere. All right.
Welcome to Name Your Prize. I'm going to show you an item that I bought online, and whoever guesses closest wins points. It's XQC, everybody! Oh!
Wipe them gently.
Oh, look at that.
I know exactly how much it costs.
$12.99. Let's get our next product in here.
There we go.
What did you just do to the toe, man?
That just helped me a lot.
Oh, my God!
This is on TV?
Oh, yes, it's going live to G4 TV.
Welcome back, everyone. We're in the middle of explaining what to do with all those darn Pokemon cards that you got as a kid that you happen to buy off of eBay. So we're jumping right back into it. Go on.
Wait, GB actually just told me something that was breaking that has not been covered yet, which is
true.
If your Pokemon in the active, go over top, yeah. If your Pokemon in the active position gets sent to the farm and you don't have any Pokemon on the bench, which if you look over at GB, he's only got this little Natu bird over here. So if he didn't have this, if his Lugia, however you want to pronounce it, gets dead,
yes,
he loses. He loses if there's nothing here. So
correct.
This little Pokemon, he's only got one little baby bird.
So you have to keep Pokemon on your bench. So you just finished your turn, right?
I did, yes. I was not
cool.
able to attack, but I did play Electric.
Great. So I pulled Dan. I go here. Now...
so you can use Energy Loop now, yeah?
Yeah, so I now can use Energy Loop. And... Oh, this is fun. So the really fun thing about Pokemon cards is that they add little things into them that are entertaining, especially because when you consider the games for kids. So I'm going to do this because it's fun. We're going to play Dan. Dan allows me to draw 2 cards. You and your opponent play rock, paper, scissors until someone wins. If you win, you get to draw 2 more cards. So I'm going to draw 2 cards. I'm going to let you know I'm a rock, paper, scissors world champion, okay? Competed in Helsinki in '93.
Listen, I actually have
I was 5 years old.
credits, man, and box champion right here.
Here we go. All right. Wait. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Obviously, it's the East Coast way. That's right. Fist bump. All right, here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah, that's right. I always go rock. I should have just told you I was going to go rock right out of the gate.
I should have known you would have gone with the rock.
Yeah, it's... Darn it.
I got you, Al.
Can't get away from it. Okay, great. So I was able to draw my cards. Let's see here.
Dwayne Rock Johnson joke.
Okay, great. So I'm going to attack your Pokemon there, and your Pokemon will now be knocked out. So I can take a prize card, and you could take any random prize card, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll just take one off of the top. Cool.
Wait, you get to now use it?
Yes, it goes into my hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's important, right? Because like if
I thought you were just screwed if you drew your strongest card and it ended up in here.
You can get it in, and that could turn the tide of the game completely if you were able to get your card.
Got it.
So I attack. My turn's over. Go on.
I send out Rayquaza.
Whoa, Ray, the big gun's coming out now. Okay.
Call me Zinnia, baby. Here we go. Drawing a card, taking a look at it. It is... Okay, that's a good card. Okay.
Are you gonna attack, or are you just gonna?
So what's really cool, if you ever get a chance to watch the Pokemon TCG like competitions, the commentary is phenomenal. Lots of brilliant minds. Like it just, I've always wanted to commentate a TCG because I would just like to. I think the challenge would be quite compelling. But when I hear them and like the amount of information you have to have in the back of your mind at all times, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, but we do that with other video games.
But the thing is, well, yeah, I mean, I can only keep so much crap in my head, you know? Like, I'm not a very smart person, Frosky. I can't keep it all up in here for too long. All right, ooh. So you got the lightning and the fire energy on Rayquaza.
Do, and how much?
It's got 130.
130.
Okay. I'm gonna use Dragon Pulse, and I have to discard the top 2 cards of my deck to do that. Do I look at them?
No, they're going to.
I'm gonna show you guys. I don't know. I'm gonna look.
They're just going to go into discard pile. You can look at them.
Oh, I can. They're energy cards. I just thought it would be dramatic if I threw away my win condition and didn't know.
No, because in this deck with the V Battle deck, Rayquaza is technically
it is my win condition. It's out there.
Yeah,
we're good.
So how much did I get hit for?
You got hit for 40.
Oh wow, big hit. Okay, cool. So my turn to go now. All right, I will. Let's see here. I'm going to play Alchemy to evolve my Milcery.
So you can evolve Pokemon on your bench?
Correct. You can evolve Pokemon as they sit on your bench, and you can evolve as many Pokemon as you want, so long as they're there for a turn. You can't just play Natu and then play Xatu. You have to like play the card, wait a turn, then play the next evolution of it.
It's a precursor to XP share.
Correct.
So here's a question from the chat. You had a previous Pokemon out here.
Oh yeah, I did this wrong.
Yeah.
No, I was going to ask, they had an energy attached to them. Did you get to keep the energy on the field when they died?
No.
No, you lose
when
the
you knock
energy
out
as
the Pokemon, they take all energy with them.
So when this little bird dude gets knocked out, all 3 of these energies are gone.
Are gone. Absolutely. Exactly. Okay. So I'm just going to do my attack only because I've been building up to this whole thing the whole time.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to go for the 120 damage hit onto you, Rach, onto your Rayquaza.
It's my birthday, Alex.
I'm so sorry. But the good news is that I was told that we have to move on to our next segment.
Oh, but I'm going to hit you with the Squirrel Burst first. I'm going to throw these away.
Hold on. She wants to hit me with something. So let's just go ahead. It's your turn.
I hit you for 100 because I discard these 2, and you
hit me for 100. My Pokemon's dead. Oh no!
No, it's not dead. It's knocked out.
It's knocked out. I'll put the Alchemy here.
But then I throw Pansear and I cook it.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So tell me what else you got. You got the bird. I got the Chinchou. I zap it. And I still got an electric sting.
And then I'm gonna just, you know what? I'm gonna just hit you with a Golbat because I don't care.
Hop. Hop.
Well, folks, hopefully you learn. Are you okay?
Now it's time to learn about Pokemon Unite from our Pokemon Unite expert. She's ranked in the top 200
I was
players
supposed
in
to
the
read
world,
this.
which means she has no life outside of this show.
Oh, self-burn.
What?
That's really well done. Let's take a video.
Pokemon Unite is a 5v5 MOBA for mobile and Nintendo Switch. 2 teams face off in 10-minute games to determine who can score as many points as possible. It's like League of Legends for children like me. The map consists of 2 lanes named for the respective position on the map, top and bottom. Non-playable Pokemon will spawn at designated timers in these lanes and grant experience and EOS points to the player who last hits their health bar. Experience is used to evolve your Cuddlymon, while the EOS points are used for dunking on your opponent's goal. Now, each goal can only hold so many dunks as indicated by the number below them. Overcapping is when you dunk more points than the indicated number and allow you to maximize that goal for scoring before it is broken and requires you to run further into enemy territory to find the next goal to score. Now, naturally, your opponents won't just sit by and watch you score, and can interrupt your attempts by attacking you during the charging animation, or just straight up murdering you and sending you back to your base with a respawn timer. To overpower your opponent's scores, you take objectives like Rotom and Dreadnought, which grant experience and special effects for your team to make scoring easier. Now, Dreadnought grants a combat shield that can absorb damage, and Rotom will slowly move across the top lane towards the enemy goal. If it makes contact, it will allow instantaneous dunking without any wind-up animation, making the goals extremely difficult to defend. Who last hit it will render the enemy goals instantly vulnerable to dunks and be awarded 25 EOS points to everyone on the team. This comeback mechanic can often flip games at the very last second. Super fair and balanced. Like many MOBAs, Unite is broken down into early, mid, and late game stages. Despite being only 10 minutes long, early game is defined by the laning phase of the game and encompasses the first 3 minutes of play in which teams are coordinating which player gets experience to power farm their most valuable Pokemon. Like how the AD carry in League of Legends is often babysat by the support, Unite has the attacker role that is paired with a defender and support in the bottom lane. This is because Audinos are worth more experience than APOMs, making the bot lane worth more experience collectively. This allows 3 people to share the lane EXP while power farming the attacker. Top lane is a 1v1 matchup and often includes Pokemon that have high secure potential or the ability to burst the APOMs or Audinos at high health to deny the opponents the chance to last hit. All lane compositions at the competitive level will have various combinations to secure Audinos at high health. Yeah, it's an Audino, it looks like a little pig with little floppy ears. Apparently it's a Pokemon, who knew? The space between the lanes is the jungle or center area, and actually has the most experience in the game due to buff spawns. Your most valuable Pokemon should be given the jungle to power farm these Pokemon ahead. These Pokemon will most likely have AoE attacks and high mobility and gap closers to allow them to move through the jungle camps quickly and stick to lane opponents when they gank. With all these in mind, you'll most likely see a 1-1-3 lane setup in Unite to maximize experience share and spread, with full 5v5 teamfights around Dreadnought, Rotom, and Zapdos spawns. Outside of the physical match, Unite does have battle items and held items. Battle items are essentially summoner spells or different abilities that players can equip, such as the eject button, flash, or slow smoke, exhaust. These have internal cooldowns and can only be used a couple of times over the course of a match. Held items are close to the old rune system in League of Legends that empower your Pokemon with various stats like crit chance, cooldown reduction, etc. The most mandatory of these held items is called Buddy Barrier. Buddy Barrier grants yourself and your allied teammates a shield when you use your Unite move or your ultimate move, which essentially gives your team a ton more health to work with in fights. The other most important thing to note is how shields work in Pokemon Unite. They apply damage mitigation, not just added health to break through, which means not only do you get that much more health to work with in team fights, but if the enemy team hits you during the Buddy Barrier, their abilities actually do less damage. In other words, Buddy Barrier is OP and the mandatory meta. And there you have it, the basics of Pokemon Unite. It's a fast-paced, teamwork-oriented game where cute characters beat the shit out of each other.
Well, there you have it. Learn a little bit about Pokemon Unite. Fun fact, we're going to be playing it at the end of our stream today. So if you guys, enjoyed that, stick around because there's going to be plenty more Pokemon Unite. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be throwing some balls around for GTFO. Okay, that's a thing I can say out loud.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Online personality test. I have no idea who I am.
Just think about how different my life would be if I had this as a kid.
Well, I'm done. I'm not going to game stores anymore. I'm gonna stick to doing what I do best. No manners, no subtlety.
Now, look, I'm not going to front. right? I don't know what our producers were smoking when they came up with this idea, but, you know, here's what we're gonna do. We're practicing our Pokeball throwing skills by catching us some interns. Pretty much the same thing as the games. All right, so we'll get 60 seconds to throw as many balls as possible. That's a word to say. Into our interns' cowboy hats. In theory, these balls would have stuck to the interns, but sometimes things just don't work out the way you planned them. So whoever gets the most balls into the hats wins, and they get to close out the show. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's throw some balls.
I lost a ball.
Come on, already? How can you lose
You call Perry an intern.
All right, here we go.
Was my boss
3,
for like
2, 1, throw balls!
Oh, Perry,
wow.
nice catch. I did it in the wrong order, though.
Oh.
Come on, Charmander. Charmander,
Let's go, Pikachu.
blow out your tail.
Come on,
Pikachu. Pika-Pee!
Pikachu's not.
Pika-Pee!
There's a way to do it.
Pika-Pee!
Come on, Pika. Oh, yeah, I'm getting help from the Charmander.
That's another one. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nailing this, man.
We'll never be a Charizard. Okay,
that's what I always say to
Charmander.
Okay,
Charmander.
all I know is I have just 2 yellow balls on the ground. I don't know how many balls were in here, but I think I won.
Okay, come on.
Just saying.
I don't know, man. I think Charmander working
Wait,
for
what?
me.
Wait, we have 2 seconds left.
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
no,
wait.
that's cheating.
Come on,
Happy
he's got
birthday.
20 seconds left. Time is missing.
Wait, that's 1.
Yes.
Uno más. No. Okay, one more. You can't just throw the cup.
I don't have anything else to throw.
Did you get all your
objects?
I did it.
They're throwing things back.
No, wait, that's
did
the
it.
last ball.
All right, I see green, red, and blue on the ground. I have no yellow anywhere.
There's a ball on the shoe, so it counts.
That's.
Wait.
What is Charmander doing with my shoe?
Hungry. Oh.
Let me just try.
Wait a second. Is that the same intern that's bottling Amaranth's farts?
It is.
Yo, you gotta get your shoe back.
I gotta get my shoe back. That's worth money.
Well, how do we determine who won? I win.
He took my shoe.
Yes. You want to close out the show with me, Rachel? It's your birthday.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, come on. All right, here we go. Thank you guys so much for watching our show. You say the next part.
Adlib/plug/what you want. Thank the guest. Did I do that?
You read the notes on the prompter, Rach.
Take me home.
See you next week.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, howdy. Welcome to Knives, where the selling point is sharp. We all know that humans should never leave the house without 2 visible and 15 concealed blades. But what about your beloved defense pet, Sharpays, Stabberdoodles, even Calico Cat Tunnels? Oh, that's karate magic. That's why we at Knives is proudly announcing Critter Shivers, the first line of defense weaponry designed to turn your guard dog into a guard god. Lowercase g, praise be to his name. All my coins is buried, so I ain't got no need for a piggy bank. But I do loves me, the piggy shank. For just $19.99, blade up your tussless swine with melted down, sharpened plastic toothbrushes. All lovingly crafted and tested in federal correctional facilities. Right here in the US&A. But what if all you can afford to protect your property is a ding-dang hamster? Well, say goodbye hamster wheel and hello hamster steel. Yeah! Oh, he's dizzy. It's the guinea blade. What hamsters lack in size, they make up for an unquenchable thirst for unrighteous human blood for just $39.99. Ball not included. Don't get greedy. Yep. Now, it pains me to admit, but not all aminals are suited to knife combat. Some ain't got no hands! And that's why, for a limited time, we're proud to offer mace. Yeah! It's pepper spray for a snake. Not today. Yeah, take it. That's a hissy fit. Oh, good thing both my eyes is plastic. If you need a little more bang for your man's best buds, get yourself a pine coneade. Prorated for squirrel and human use, I think. Oh, we lost the pen.
Tune his heart to mine.
all, Scott here. Have you seen something that looks like this? If you found that, that's me caring about the Nintendo 64. Please dispose of it immediately. I know, I'm putting these up, and I just like the attention. Family photo. Oh god, that's embarrassing. That's better. The Nintendo 64, one of the most revolutionary consoles of all time, helped standardize how games in the third dimension look, play, and control, introduced so many genres, franchises, concepts, and I still don't give a I'm being a bit harsh here. It's not that I don't like the Nintendo 64, I just don't care about it. This is not my favorite Nintendo console. It's not my least favorite, but this is one of the tougher ones to go back to for me. I totally understand its worth, and why to many this is their favorite, and I love so many of the things everybody else loves about this guy. But after I dug my grave, I decided to dig back into this system, look back at what gave it its groove, the games, the accessories, the innovation, the lack of Scott giving. Everything that made the Nintendo 64 the Nintendo 64. I want to learn to love this console, because as it stands, it's alright. But that won't do. I have to appreciate everything Nintendo does for me. Criticism is just whining. Nintendo made buttons. What did you do, Dad? Well, let's go back to the beginning here, where everything precisely started. The mid-90s. Nintendo was king of the video game space. Their first two consoles, the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo Entertainment System, both were at the top of the food chain in nearly every category. They had the best games, the best developers, the best sales. They were the video game company. There's a reason people would call any video game thing a Nintendo. It's like, Mom, this is a calculator. However, as time went on, more and more competition started appearing. And not only that, they weren't complete laughingstocks. Pretty much most consoles that fought against the original NES, there's a reason I dug this grave deeper than usual. But with the SNES, Sega brought the big guns with their Genesis and ended up taking a lot of market share away from Nintendo, even surpassing them for a brief moment. And when Nintendo was working to create a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo, they worked with Sony on it, but canceled plans after reevaluating their contract. This made Sony so mad they created a worldwide phenomenon out of spite. Basically, Sega was legitimately scaring Nintendo and me, and Sony was a promising up-and-coming rival. They were burned by Nintendo and wanted to make their own video game console, and this isn't even covering the dozens of other companies that tried. Nintendo couldn't just sit there and expect everybody to only want Nintendo products. Sega customers proved that not everybody was born a Nintendo diehard. So, they had to get to work on a successor to the Super Nintendo, and near the end of the console's life, it was pretty obvious where the video game industry was heading. Downhill! This console. 3D graphics and gameplay was the next big thing. Games like Donkey Kong Country and Star Fox gave us a taste as to how 3D can change how games look and play. Of course, cramming all of this onto a Super Nintendo cartridge, while possible, it felt more like they were shoehorning these types of games on the system. For Donkey Kong Country, they would create 3D models of these characters and recreate them in the form of a 2D SNES sprite. That was one way to get 3D looking games on your Super Nintendo, but what if you didn't have to do that? What if the game console could create 3D visuals right from the get-go? Well, Nintendo partnered with Silicon Graphics to do such a thing, announcing their collaboration on Project Reality in 1993. Yeah, Reality. At the time, these were the graphics dreams were made of. Like, the tech demos shown off weren't too far off from full-blown computer animation. By 1994, the official name of Project Reality was revealed, the Nintendo Ultra 64, Nintendo's next home console. I love adjectives and numbers, I'm sold. If you think game companies trying to push how powerful their consoles are now is a bit much, they made the defining feature of this console's name a tech spec. That's like Sony naming their next PlayStation the PlayStation GDDR6. 64 refers to how this console was 64 bits. Mom, don't you care? Bits were the hot ticket item back then. It all boiled down to how many bits does your console have? The NES only had 8, but the Genesis had 16, but the Super Nintendo had 16 as well, and the Sega Saturn and PlayStation were 32, but just for good measure, Nintendo skipped all the way over to 64. Technically, Nintendo had a 32-bit system at the time, the Virtual Boy, and even that had the codename of VR32, showing how important bits were to marketing back then. I guarantee you, nobody who actively argued about how many bits their console was even knew what bits were. Hell, I don't even know, and I'm complaining about it. All people knew was, the higher the number, the gooder the fun. And Nintendo wanted to flaunt just how powerful their system was by lodging a number that meant absolutely nothing to anybody prior into their console's name. But they just couldn't help themselves and threw an Ultra in there as well. A couple months later in '94, the console design was revealed. And it's functional. I have no idea what this looks like with its little feet and hourglass figure. The cartridge designs were also shown off here, with the most prominent feature being the fact they exist. This, right here, may have been one of Nintendo's biggest mistakes. By 1994, it was pretty obvious that CDs were the future of video games. They could store so much content, video and audio clips at great quality, and they were so cheap to produce. The Ultra 64 cartridges could barely hold anything in comparison, could barely hold video and audio clips, and if they could, they were severely compressed and downgraded and cost a mortgage to produce. But they were harder to pirate and had faster load times. That makes them better. And ever since that decision, Nintendo's always been number 1, 2, 3, 1, Wii U. The Ultra 64 was consistently talked about for years, with a release by holiday 1995 planned. Eventually, they renamed it to just straight up Nintendo 64, which, yeah, Nintendo Ultra 64, you only really need one of those. But even with the name and console design finalized, Nintendo delayed the system a good handful of times until finally nailing a release in June 1996 in Japan, September 1996 in North America, and March 1997 everywhere else. 4 years after it was announced. Yeah, this console took a while to actually exist. And that was unfortunate because Sega and Sony had a 2-year head start. Their consoles released in 1994, but they weren't Nintendo, they were dumb. Nintendo was fine with delaying their console and choosing to only use cartridges because they felt that people would choose to wait for an N64 instead of just buying a PlayStation. They sure didn't. To be fair, the Nintendo 64 sold incredibly well throughout its launch window, doing better than the competition for a brief moment. But then, it happened. Nothing. The Nintendo 64 had numerous software droughts. Nintendo just couldn't pump games out fast enough for the system. Games were becoming harder to develop. This was the first generation where 3D was the norm, so it was understandable development times may have been longer. But see, that's where the other developers come in. When Nintendo's not releasing games, surely the third parties can fill the void. And we return to one of Nintendo's greatest mistakes. See, the Sega Saturn and PlayStation may have only been stinky-ass 32-bit systems, but they used CDs for their games. That meant the games would cost less and store far more information. And with these systems having a 2-year head start on the N64, developers got used to having all that leg room. A standard PlayStation disc could fit roughly 700 megabytes of all kinds of stuff. A Nintendo 64 cartridge, at the most, could fit 64 megabytes. And even then, a game that used a 64 megabyte cartridge cost your soul to buy. So, to third-party developers, would you rather develop for a system that's been out for 2 years with a good install base that uses CDs so you can make bigger games with not as many limitations, or would you rather with Mario? Not only was Nintendo's output of software a bit lower than usual, but the amount of third-party software was just not up to snuff with the competition. When Nintendo wasn't releasing a new game, there really wasn't anything else to play. But I mean, when there was stuff to play, there was stuff to play. People loved their N64s, and while the PlayStation sold over 100 million units, with the Nintendo 64 coming in a distant second place with 32 million, it did better than the Sega Saturn. But that's something everybody can say about themselves. I think the lack of third-party support in some way made it so the people who owned a 64 felt a deeper connection to it than the PS1. That console kind of felt like the console people would just buy by default. Yeah, it has the most games, it plays music CDs, I'll go with this one. If you wanted an N64, you wanted an N64. You were willing to look past the issues because you really wanted to play the games. I just always see more people passionately talking about the Nintendo 64 in comparison to the PS1. While these are both two systems beloved by many, I feel like if you take 10 different people who owned a PlayStation, each of them probably don't have a ton in common. There were so many games on that system, there's a chance everybody played different PS1 games growing up. If you take 10 N64 owners, they all played Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye, Ocarina of Time. Not saying that's a good or bad thing, but I feel like the lack of a ton of software on Nintendo 64 in some ways helped bring more Nintendo fans together. That's almost the weirdly beautiful thing about a console that didn't do that well. The Wii U era was pretty tart, but I felt there was this cool connection I had with other Wii U owners. It was called a mutual hatred. So this is the Nintendo 64, originally launching for $199 with no pack-in game initially. Thank God, I'm allergic to deals. It was pretty much tradition for Nintendo to include a game with the console up to this point, but they decided to forgo that with the N64. Again, comparing the PS1 to this system, PlayStation just comes out on top here. You buy an N64 with no game, it's completely worthless out of the box. At least with the PlayStation, you could play music CDs on it, which gave it some value without a game. What are you gonna do with an N64? Take it for a walk? The system itself was standardized across the world. The name and design were the same in all regions, so we all said at the same time, what the f is this? This is such a silly looking console. It doesn't look bad by any means, it's just kinda odd. But it's not full-blown odd, it looks basic and strange at the same time. However, this design gave way to some incredible colors and special editions. There were so many variants out there. This is one of the first big consoles to really push different colors. But of course, the charcoal color was the de facto, coming with a great spike. spider? Oh look, it's time to be confused about the Nintendo 64 controller. What the hell? Of course, with the system being so focused on delivering three-dimensional experiences, a simple 8-way directional pad wasn't gonna do. We needed full 360-degree movement, so here's an old friend I wouldn't trust with my life. The analog stick, a tiny little joystick made for one thumb in all the directions in the world. Outside of this edition, most of the controller is fairly typical. The buttons and D-pad all feel fine, and while the layout is odd, it's functional. 3 grips is just flat out bizarre though. There's no right or wrong way to hold this thing, though there's really no Nintendo 64 game out there that would ask you to use the D-pad if you're already using the stick and A and B buttons. For 3D games, you hold the middle prong and right prong. For 2D games, left prong and right prong. For weird-ass games, left prong and middle prong. There's a trigger on the back of the middle prong here, these new C buttons, and a port for all kinds of activities. It's not a terrible controller. It's just not great. The stick is sort of garbage feeling, and sure, no game asks you to have access to all these buttons at once, but isn't it weird that this controller makes sure you can't access all these buttons at once? Like, is there any good reason why if you design your game around using the analog stick and A and B buttons, you just can't use the D-pad or L button? Regardless of my problems with it, the Nintendo 64 controller deserves respect after a shunning, but incorporating the analog stick helped innovate games so hard. And we can't ignore the fact you could use 4 of them on a console, no problem. 4-player multiplayer. That was another one of the Nintendo 64's claims to fame. Most consoles will only have 2 controller ports, and you would have to grab an accessory to up it to 4. Because of that, not many games in general supported more than 2 players, but the N64 really pushed for more people playing at once. It was the only console that generation to have 4 controller ports, which really helped it stick out. And just like the console controllers came in so many fun colors. Do I like this thing or not? Well, we gotta move on to the games, and Nintendo, the least you could have done when moving strictly to cartridges for the system was give them labels. I had to resort to buying fan-made ones on Etsy, and they're pretty fun. It makes it exciting when you buy a new 64 game, like, oh, I get to use another sticker. Even with the labels, the way these things are shaped make them kind of a pain to store. Anyways, the Nintendo 64 launched with games here in North America, and 2 of them at that. Japan had it way better. They got 3 games. Alongside the system's release, Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64 came out, that was it. If you were living in Japan, you had the choice of buying Saikyo Habu Shogi as well, which meant you were either buying Mario 64 or Pilot Wings. Super Mario 64 was the flagship title, the reason you wanted to buy a Nintendo 64 if Pilot Wings was sold out. Popping this cartridge in and turning it on.
It's me, Mario. Hello.
Oh my god, he has a face? This right here helped show just how powerful the Nintendo 64 was, and this isn't even the game. Mario's smooth facial animations, the high quality model, being able to manipulate his face to be whatever you want, this was an ingenious title screen, and it's completely superfluous. It has nothing to do with the rest of the game. But it's here to show something that could not have been done on prior hardware, and it's just for fun. The game itself, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's no Pilot Wing 64, but it has its charm. Mario 64 may just be one of the greatest launch titles in history, not only showing why the N64 mattered, but what video games could be. 3D gaming was nothing new by the time this thing finally came out, but Mario 64 was the first to truly nail it. Having this controllable camera system and these wide open worlds to explore and jump around in. Half the fun in Mario 64 is just running, jumping, doing whatever. Wasting time. Some of my favorite memories with this game had nothing to do with completing the objectives. It was exploring Peach's castle, both on the outside and the inside. It was falling into a new level and just jumping about, doing all these fun tricks. This was the perfect selling point for 3D gaming, showing how it wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't about graphics, it wasn't about just looking more and more realistic. 3D worlds are so much more immersive, and the kind of fun I have in Mario 64, just rolling around exploring, it couldn't be done in 2D. While there were objectives to complete and the actual game was incredibly fun and replayable, Mario 64 gave you the tools to make your own fun alongside it. As a kid, it was a blast using my imagination with this game, coming up with crazy things to do or just not do anything at all, just enjoying being in this world. This will always be one of the greatest video games of all time. One of. Pilot Wings 64, a sequel to Pilot Wings, a launch title for the Super Nintendo. You know, it made sense to make this a launch title for the 64, as the original Pilot Wings was showing how the SNES could sort of kind of do pseudo 3D stuff. Now with 64, we have the real deal. There's not a ton to this one, different missions to complete with different flight vehicles. It's fairly basic, but a lot of the fun comes from just flying around. It's enjoyable to just hover over these environments, and just like with Mario 64, it's fun to stray from the core objective and make your own fun. This launch was very quality over quantity oriented, which I guess was Nintendo's mentality throughout the 64's life. Less than 300 games were released here in North America, with less than 400 overall worldwide. That's still a decent number of games, but comparing that to pretty much any other major console, it's like, man, what's going on here? Nintendo consistently had issues with game output, delaying games quite a bit, especially in 1997. Look at this lineup. These were the only games Nintendo published for the 64 in 1997. None of these are bad games, but when Tetrisphere is 17% of your game output, something's and when we take a look at what Sony was publishing on the PlayStation in 97, yeah, issue alert. But when Nintendo released a good game, they released a good game. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was what many people were looking forward to, and it was basically another Mario 64 in terms of impact. Gone was the top-down perspective of 2D Zelda, and in came a third-person viewpoint in a 3D world. The added dimension really helped to push the character, story, and universe of Ocarina of Time. It truly felt like you were on an adventure, and these characters were actual people. Ocarina revolutionized what adventure games were and is still considered one of, if not the greatest game of all time. We're 3 for 3 here. Not only did we get one Zelda game, but 2 Zelda games for the system. Crazy considering not many games came out on the N64, but we ended up getting 2 games in a series notorious for long wait times between entries. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask was a very smart sequel, reusing assets in the foundation of Ocarina of Time and making something fairly unique in comparison. Doomsday is inevitable, and you have to do your general Zelda stuff before the time limit runs up, but you can manipulate time to your advantage. This, alongside the far darker tone, is what makes this game really stand out. Majora did require the expansion pack though, an accessory for the people who care too much. See, there's this door on the console, we remove it, and oh man, how could I forget to mention the jumper pack, my favorite! This comes standard with the console, and you need it inserted to have anything work, but we can remove it and replace it with an expansion pack for maximum better? Only 2 games straight up required it, as it gave the N64 more RAM to work with, Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64. Perfect Dark sorta needed it, but you could kinda play some parts of it without an expansion pack. A handful of games supported the accessory, but it was not required by any means for most. Hell, Donkey Kong 64 barely even required it. The only reason it needed it was to fix a game-breaking bug the developers had no idea how to fix otherwise. The only solution was to make the expansion pack mandatory, so it was bundled in with the game. This is a bloated mess of a game. I mean, overall it's alright, but man, there are just too many collectibles. But hey, Donkey Kong in 3D, that's pretty neat. It was cool seeing these characters and worlds from a brand new perspective. And we have none other than Rare to thank for that, one of the definitive developers of the Nintendo 64. For sure, they worked on the Donkey Kong Country games, but the N64 was where they really hit their stride. I have no idea how they were able to pump out so many good games in such a small amount of time. Like, 3 of the 6 Nintendo 64 games Nintendo published in 1997 were developed by Rare. While they weren't owned by Nintendo, they had a strong partnership with them at this time, leading to games like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, 3D platformers not unlike Mario 64, but with their own flavor and spin. Conker's Bad Fur Day, a 3D platformer definitely unlike Mario 64, playing around with the concept of looking like a cutesy family-friendly game when in reality being not a church. And my my god, they really knew how to use this hardware. Conquer specifically included just a ton of voice acting and cutscenes, which was hard to do on this system. You have some quirky one-offs like Blast Corps, All About Vandalism, Jet Force Gemini, Mickey Speedway USA, Killer Instinct Gold, oh my god. Sure, not all these games were 100% winners, but at the very least, they were fairly quality titles for the time. But then they decided to squirt out GoldenEye 007, a landmark game in history. Wherefore for 4. How the hell did this even happen? A movie licensed game that came out 2 years after the movie ended up being a landmark title on home consoles, revolutionizing the first-person shooter, including one of the most cherished multiplayer modes of all time. It's definitely hard to go back to now, but you can always appreciate what it did for gaming and how amazing this was back in '97. Somehow, Nintendo had the James Bond license for video games at the time, and they definitely made the most of it. They made 2 games, but one of them was GoldenEye. When the license went to Electronic Arts, Rare wanted to make a spiritual successor to GoldenEye, and ended up both developing and publishing Perfect Dark in 2000. Again, similar to GoldenEye, I winced at the thought of going back to it today, but back then, yeah, this was good and stuff. It pretty much used every aspect of the N64 it could have, included the transfer pack accessory. You plug this into the controller and you can pop certain Game Boy and Game Boy Color games in to have home console and handheld games interact. I love stupid junk like this. Not a ton of games supported it, but the one game that mattered did. Pokemon Stadium. The Nintendo 64 released during the big Pokemon boom when the craze just started to happen worldwide. So Nintendo acted upon that. They had crazy successful Pokemon games on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Let's make some Nintendo 64 Pokemon spin-offs. Yeah, Pokemon Stadium is like taking a standard Pokemon game with the adventure and battles, putting it in 3D and taking out the adventure. You're just left with the battles with not much substance. Of course, back then, that was pretty cool to see your favorite Pokemon in 3D, just like how it was cool for me to see my favorite Donkey Kong. And you could transfer your very own Pokemon from the Game Boy games into Stadium, plus play the Game Boy games on the TV with the transfer pack. You couldn't really play any other Game Boy games on the TV with the N64. Just Pokemon. See, Nintendo let you play any Game Boy game on your Super Nintendo with the Super Game Boy. Why they made an accessory like this that let you only play one Game Boy game and nothing else, I don't know. But all Pokemon Stadium games supported the transfer pack. Pokemon Stadium 1, which only released in Japan. Pokemon Stadium 1, which was Pokemon Stadium 2 in Japan. And Pokemon Stadium 2, which was Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver in Japan. Never liked Logic. There was AU Pikachu, which used the voice recognition unit, don't you? It doesn't. Pokemon Puzzle League, which was just a Pokemon-themed version of Tetris Attack, which makes it my favorite Pokemon game. And Pokemon Snap, an on-rails photography game. Try to get as good Pokemon shots as possible. This was the best non-puzzle Pokemon game on the system. I understand that the developers behind Pokemon strongly believed that the Game Boy was the best platform for the series at the time, but I'm just surprised Nintendo didn't straight up force them to make a true N64 Pokemon adventure. That really would have been the kick in the pants the system needed. But I mean, it still had some of the best-selling games that generation. Mario Kart 64 came out a few months after the system's launch, and this is the big one. Easily one of my favorite Mario Karts nostalgia-wise. I don't know what it was, but my memories of this game are better than any other game in the series. The tracks, the multiplayer, the items, the battle mode, it was all the best. Playing it now? It's fine. I mean, playing with friends, any Mario Kart's gonna be a blast, but just looking at the core game, the core controls, it's not as good as I remember. At least we have Diddy Kong Racing. This was the big holiday title for 1997. When Mario Kart released earlier that year, yeah, that was really needed. But in many ways, this is better than Mario Kart 64. The characters are actual full 3D models, while in Mario Kart, they're all flat. There's an adventure mode, bosses, more characters developed by Rare. Again, how did they do this? Like 3 months after GoldenEye! And there were so many other racing games. F-Zero X, sequel to the SNES launch title. You know, with that one, you had to take the word for it where you were and truly how fast you were going. Here, you get the full F-Zero experience. It is blisteringly fast. Wave Race 64 and 1080 snowboarding, the extreme sports racing games by Nintendo, but loads of fun, and they even brought back Excite Bike with Excite Bike 64. Of course, these racing games may not have been the most deep experiences out there in comparison to games like Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, but they were fun multiplayer experiences, and that is what made the N64 stand out. So many of Nintendo's flagship games on this console were multiplayer oriented, even if they hailed from a series that used to be single player only. F-Zero X introduced multiplayer, and so did Star Fox 64. And Star Fox 64 was a huge release, basically acting as a retelling of Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, but now on a system that isn't choking on its graphics. And the initial release included the Rumble Pack. Now, this is big. Plug it into your controller, pop some batteries in, and what happens in the game affects your controller. It really added to the experience and made big moments feel that much bigger. I'm surprised Nintendo never updated the N64 controller to have the Rumble feature built in. So many games supported it, way more than any other 64 accessory. except the memory cards, but even then most of the games I cared about just saved directly to the cartridge, so oops, I don't own one. Yeah, I have a will to live but not a 64 memory card, something's not right. Anyways, yeah, multiplayer was a big part of the Nintendo 64's identity. I immediately think of party games instead of huge sprawling adventures when the console comes up. And to be fair, I think we can credit it with the birth of the modern party genre. Mario Party was introduced on this console and appeared 3 times. A virtual board game where mini games are played after everybody takes a turn moving, fun occurs, inevitable. Listen, I can go on and on about these games, and well, yes, they are the most balanced, they are the most well thought out, amazing games out there. They're super fun with friends, so much garbage happens. These are great, kick back on the couch, have pay attention kind of games. But when it's time to take them seriously, it's time to really take them seriously. While I think Mario Party 2 is the most well-rounded of the 3, I have a soft spot for the first one. Literally. There are multiple mini-games in the first entry that require spinning the analog stick, and the most effective way to do so is to use your palm. Why wouldn't Nintendo get sued? So, if you complained for a brief time, Nintendo would send you gloves free of charge and quickly put out Mario Party 2 with less hand-altering action to avoid further action. But hey, if you wanted something a bit more traditional, Mario sports games started to make their mark on the 64. They were always a thing, but truly became their own here. Golf and tennis were great entries, and they even supported the transfer pack, communicating with the Game Boy Color versions. And then Dr. Mario 64 came out, and it was the last Nintendo published N64 game here in North America, and you'd think they'd put a lot of time and effort into it. This is just Dr. Mario. I mean, it has 4 players, which is cool, but for the last Nintendo 64 game made by Nintendo a few months before the GameCube was releasing, I don't know, this looks kind of stinky. Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards was another late N64 release, and it looks really impressive. It's still a 2D game, but with consistently changing camera angles. The colors and models look so nice, and plus you can inhale an enemy, obtain their power, and mix and match it with another enemy's power. It's cool, alright, moving on. Even though Kirby was a 2D platformer, there wasn't a ton of them on here. Sure, there was Yoshi's Story, a successor to Yoshi's Island. Not as good, but an interesting follow-up. Most games were just straight up 3D, which, like, obviously, why wouldn't they be? That was half the appeal of the system. Games were in 3D now. But looking over at the PlayStation and Sega Saturn, they knew 2D games still had appeal. They weren't worse than 3D games, they were just different. So those systems had a pretty good mix of 2D and 3D games, while the 64 primarily focused on just 3D. That isn't terrible or anything. I mean, there were still 2D games here, with one of the most prominent being yes, the first entry in the Nintendo crossover fighting series. Super Smash Bros. Appeared on the Nintendo 64. Look at this is adorably tiny. Who would have thought this game featuring 12 Nintendo characters would kaboom into this? 4-player mayhem, a cross between a fighting game and a party game. This is the Nintendo 64 doing what it does best. Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time may be some of the best games out there, but Smash Bros. Is really what the Nintendo 64 was at its core. The fun machine. They had Paper Mario too. But that's pretty much everything Nintendo made on the system. Sure, there were some Japan exclusives. Animal Crossing got its start here. Like super late, it came out a week after Dr. Mario 64 and was the last overall Nintendo published game on the system, but it happened. Sin and Punishment and Custom Robo appeared only in Japan, but that's pretty much it.
Hello, adventurer! I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw you from afar.
Would you rather have eternal happiness for the rest of your life or die?
I think it's time to discuss not what appeared on the Nintendo 64, but what didn't appear. No Metroid game, no Fire Emblem game, that was a little odd. Third-party support was incredibly minimal. Sure, the system got a few games here and there, but Squaresoft, the makers of Final Fantasy, they originally were planning to support the system just like any of Nintendo's previous consoles, but decided to go with PlayStation because of those sweet, sweet discs. They didn't publish anything on Nintendo 64. And then the other big guys, Capcom, Konami, they made a few things, but not nearly as much as they did on PlayStation. Sometimes the 64 would get table scraps from the PS1, like Mega Man 64. It's just Mega Man Legends from the PS1, a spin-off adventure game. Why not just call it Mega Man Legends? Calling it Mega Man 64 implies this is the definitive Mega Man Nintendo 64 experience, not a port of a PS1 adventure game spin-off of a platforming series. Also, let's discuss the 64 name. My god, why did every other game have to have 64 in their title? It just wasn't consistent. Why did Mario get it but not Zelda? Why did Donkey Kong get it but not F-Zero? Why did Mario Kart get it but not Mario Tennis? Pilot Wings but not Yoshi? It was just weird what Nintendo considered deserving of an actual subtitle and what wasn't deserving. It almost felt like they were saying, yeah, this is just the Nintendo 64 version of the series and nothing more, keep walking. And a lot of other companies outside of Nintendo did this, and in my opinion, it made things somewhat confusing. Like Mega Man 64 is a port of a PS1 game not called that, but Doom 64 is a completely brand new original game. At that point, why not call Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64 Resident Evil 64? This was another Capcom game, the second one of 3, the third being Magical Tetris Challenge. This is all they did on N64, but Resident Evil 2 is wildly impressive. This was a 2-disc PS1 game, and they crammed the whole thing on a cartridge with not nearly as many compromises as you'd expect. This is crazy. It's unfortunate not a lot of other games like this reported, but to be fair, this was a miracle that happened in the first place. Konami was more prominent on the system, though that's really only because they were publishing a lot of sports games at the time. They made 2 unique 3D Castlevanias, I don't like them. I mean, they made Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation and Sega Saturn in Japan. This was a refined 2D experience. The Castlevania 64 games are wet and muddy and just feel so lonely and not fun, and I'm sad. Nintendo 64 games in general just don't look that great. They look so muddy and blurry if you're playing on an original console. Playing anywhere else, like on the Wii Virtual Console or something, they're a bit cleaner, but still, this era just doesn't age very well at all. The N64 didn't get a lot of other games. Third parties primarily would port over family games, sports games, some 3D platformers. Every now and then some exclusives would appear, like the Turok series, but there were barely any RPGs. Now, for somebody like me, thank God! Oh, come on, basically there were only 3 RPGs on the entire system. Quest 64, which the only reason this game exists was to be one of the only RPGs on the system, Ogre Battle 64, and Paper Mario. This was mainly a 3D platforming adventure game and party game machine. It did those things very well, but it wasn't a great all-in-one console. Which, to fix that issue, Nintendo released the 64DD add-on, I think. This was announced before the system even came out. Great, an add-on for a system that's not even close to releasing. I'm so excited to buy 2 things. This is actually just straight up called the 64DD, not the Nintendo 64DD, and these are incredibly rare and expensive.
You'd have to be a an idiot to own one of them.
While it was announced in 1995, it released in 1999. It was created to avoid the storage limitations of the N64 cartridges by using magnetic discs. It barely helped. Like, N64 cartridges at their max could store 64 megabytes of stuff. These discs were 64 megabytes standard. Like, CDs were around 700 megabytes. Why even try to release this? It could do all kinds of things. It had an internal clock. It could connect online. It failed miserably. Only a couple games released for the thing. It only came out in Japan, sold like ass, was delayed several times, and by the time it came out, it was worthless. The Sega Dreamcast already released. The PlayStation 2 was announced. I feel like Nintendo wasted so much of their time with this thing. Dozens upon dozens of games were planned for the DD, eventually getting canceled. Without it, I'm sure we would have gotten way more N64 games. All these games that were being worked on for the 64 DD, they ended up saying, well, let's either turn them into N64 cartridge games or wait to release them on better hardware. And that just left the Nintendo 64 with Dr. Mario 64 being the last game Nintendo made for the system. What a way to piss out.
Yeah, I think this deserves a discussion on its own, if I ever own one. But that was the Nintendo 64, and overall, it's a pretty good system. Though, no matter how I look at it, I'm always going to see a troubled console that didn't live up to what Nintendo wanted out of it. For every one thing Nintendo innovated with this console, there was another that was ridiculously close-minded and stuck in the past. And while I respect it for being such a landmark console with such amazing games like Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, I just feel like out of the 400 so games that released for it, there's only like 4 40 of them that are well worth playing today, and only 20 of those 40 have aged well. But the good games for the system were really good games. It nailed multiplayer, and no matter what, there will always be a reason to fire this system back up. It may not be my favorite Nintendo system, but I care about it.
I found it!
Hey y'all, Scott here, and you might have noticed this 2-liter Mountain Dew and sack of Doritos I'm about to fling into my gullet. Don't worry, I feel a good reason for doing this coming on to me. That'll work. Not only do I want to become a true enjoyer of all things video game, but I also want an excuse to go to this hospital near me. They're really cool. They got a vending machine and everything.
Oh my god, this room is crazy. My arteries.
You ever play Pac-Man World 2 and you're like, man, I could use a choking hazard right about now. Food has been associated with gaming here and there. You see, with every new Call of Duty or Halo release comes a corresponding can of Mountain Dew. Every new console release comes with oodles of sweepstakes plastered on boxes of Special K. And of course, many people like to just glutton out and stuff their face while playing a game. So let's take a look at some food associated with games. Basically, I went to the supermarket and loaded my cart up with anything video game related. Let's move over to this room. Yeah, you see, this is what us kitchen owners refer to as kitchen. Blam, let's get this one out of the way. Super Mario cereal took the world by storm. It's been a pretty boring few months. Released to promote Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario cereal is a Kellogg's production and includes power-up mushrooms. Well, you know I had to buy it. The box doubles as an amiibo you can scan into Mario Odyssey for some small bonuses, nothing special, but still a really cool touch. Also on the back, we have some activities for you to tackle during unemployment. Enough gawking, let's crack this thing open and get to the goods. Super Mario cereal's flavor is mixed berry and marshmallows. The mixed berry is contained in these stars, and the marshmallows take the form of these question mark blocks and mushrooms, or as I like to call them, and what? After going knee-deep into this cereal, I think it's alright. I don't think mixed berry is the best flavor to combine with marshmallows, but what do I know? I don't cereal for a living. If you're a kid who's begged their mom to grab Super Mario cereal at the supermarket, you're no doubt familiar with getting grape nuts instead. Around the same time Super Mario cereal released, Post cereals featured a Nintendo Switch and Mario Odyssey sweepstakes on the front of various boxes, like Honey Bunches of Oats and, of course, grape nuts. You gotta hand it to the sweepstakes. It got me to try an edible form of torture. This isn't the first time Nintendo's been plastered on cereal boxes. Back in the late 80s, the Nintendo cereal system was a thing. It was of course promoting the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Mario Bros., and The Legend of Zelda. 2 cereals in one! 2 slender bags of a Mario and a Zelda cereal were inside. Good for them. Now if you need to be up and about harder than ever, you might want to contact a physician / pick up some gaming related energy drinks. There's loads of these things out there. Here I just have Mega Man and Sonic branded ones. The Mega Man energy drink is called the E-Tang, which is cute, and the Sonic one is just called Speed. What is going on with Sonic's legs here? Like, yeah, Sonic usually runs so fast his legs are nothing more than a figure 8 or something, but there's that, and then there's having no legs with just scribbles below you. Giving the drinks a taste, I mean, they're energy drinks, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure both of these are the exact same drinks. If you're into these sort of things, they're probably okay. Now, if you remove the drink from the colorful can, pop it in a standard glass, and say to me you just drank Mega Man's E-Tank, that's another story. Oh, God, this is inside me. It's weird, when I drank this, I thought to myself, wow, this tastes blue. It's probably the fact these were Mega Man and Sonic drinks, but after further inspection, that is not blue. Here's some of these retro candy tins, products that will make any 30-something squee in a Target. These things have been around for a while, and are just small candies inside a tin that's designed like something from yesteryear. I found a bunch of Mario and Nintendo related ones, with one Pac-Man arcade cabinet thrown in there. There's one that I always wanted but never found, which was an Atari 2600 joystick tin containing gum. The joystick was rubber and everything. But whatever, we have an NES controller instead. No clue why this specifically has the Nintendo Power logo on it, but who cares? I do, these mints are pathetic. These aren't the virgin mints I was promised, these are just lame circles. What's so Nintendo Power about these? It doesn't even taste like Nintendo Power, these mints are weak. Same goes for the Mario mints as well. This is probably the lamest of all the tin designs I picked up. It's literally just a rectangle with a Mario sprite on it. The mints are blocks, which could be interpreted as the blocks in Mario games. And I don't know, I think they just found a generic design and said, that'll work. This Link tin is at least shaped like the sprite, which is cool. Inside we have Orange Sword Sours. Yeah, I have a feeling this was just a repackaging of some Christian candy. The Pac-Man arcade cabinet aesthetically reigns supreme over most of these. The top is on the bottom. Nice. It's these little Pac-Man shaped candies that to this day I still can't figure out what flavor they're supposed to be. In fact, most of these candies don't have a lot of flavor at all, to be honest. You get these things for the tin, plain and simple. If you say your favorite food is coin candies, well, the door is that way. If you're not into the tins, we can always shift gears to other types of candies. Pez dispensers are wacky plastic heads that feed you on command. But we still have to load the candies into Donkey Kong here. Keep WikiHow on standby. And here we are, nice and simple. Fun, fun, fun. The Wonder Ball, the first instance of the term fine dining. It's a chocolate ball with so many goodies inside. This is a crazy great deal. We get stickers, a coin, and a chocolate ball with fruity candies on the inside. This is crazy. Finally, a Luigi fan. With candy at the bottom. A Luigi fan.
I have a question.
Am I considered a classic? 5 out of 5. Graphics and what have you.
That's all you do in this game!
Oh.
So many people have asked me to cover Pokemon, so I guess this is the best place to start. Pokemon Fruit Snacks. Oh, so this is what the franchise is all about. We have loads of fruity interpretations of everybody's favorite Pokemon, like Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful, the gang's all here. Overall, good first impressions of the franchise. There's also a Mario Kart variety, which isn't as Mario Kart as it is just standard Mario. But finally, we get to know, what does Luigi taste like? Now let's talk some more video game promotions. Food that's packaging is just absolutely creamed out by a hot new video game release. I think one of the most notable ones would be Mountain Dew and Game Fuel, a specific flavor of Mountain Dew that releases to coincide with a new video game release. This is actually the first release of the drink, promoting Halo 3 and congestive heart failure. 3 free Pokemon cards and a box of fruit roll-ups, let's go for it! Oh man, anybody up for 52 pickup? You get a free Sea of Thieves item per Chips Ahoy pack? Well, don't mind if I do. Now, one piece of gaming food I could not for the life of me track down was Gamer Grub. This stuff always looked pretty tasty. It's fundamentally just a snack mix that was advertised as the perfect gaming snack because you can just pour it down your throat. No messy hands, no messy controllers. It came in a few varieties, PB&J, s'mores, pizza, barbecue, but I believe they've stopped making it. And who could forget the classic Sonic the Hedgehog ice cream bar? I believe these were primarily only sold via ice cream trucks, and was it a hard-hitting feeling of regret to buy this instead of something actually edible? I mean, it was always fine, but nothing amazing. The eyes were gumballs, exactly what I want after a munch sesh of a frozen dairy treat. Finally, Campbell's Super Mario Soup. Let's pop this bad boy open, cook it up, and try it out. You know what? That's actually pretty good. Let me check the ingredients on this bad boy. Oh, hell yeah.
Is that a pinball machine? Oh my god, my ass is bleeding.
Hey all, Scott here, and damn it! I own Sonic Jam! It's a pretty rare game, but I don't want to be known as the guy who owns Sonic Jam when I'm dead. If you tell somebody you collect video games, you are most definitely going to get the question, what's the rarest game you own?
come back to me on that one.
I firmly believe if you want to collect stuff and have fun while doing it, it's best to do it with things you legitimately enjoy and not just collect it because, ooh, it's worth something. I collect the games I want to collect and play eventually. The rarity or value hardly matters to me. However, it is still fairly interesting to know. I mean, I bought Gravity Rush Remastered because I wanted it, but hey, now that it's $70, I guess this is my personality now. But that's beside the point. There aren't infinite copies of all video games available. I know it feels like there's a Connected Ventures every few inches, but I guarantee you there's a finite amount. Some video games are as common as leaves, but then there are the video games that just never sold that well or just never had a ton of copies produced. Now, a game can be rare right from the get-go, but mostly the value increases over time as more and more people realize, oh god, that's a rare game, I want that. But let's lay this out right here. Rare games aren't always valuable, and valuable games aren't always rare. A game's value comes down to how many people want it and how many people are willing to pay a hefty price for it. I can make a house out of all the Mario Party 2s out in the world, but a lot of people really want that game right now, so it costs nearly as much as a new game. But it ain't rare, that's for sure. But then you have whatever the hell this is. A pre-owned copy of Madden 93 for the Sega Genesis, complete with a specific cardboard box for pre-owned games. I guarantee you this is far more rare than Mario Party 2, but you won't see anybody breaking down my door for this.
Maybe.
Technically, any copy of any game can be slightly altered to become the rarest version of that game. See? Here? Look. One of a kind. The only thing that'll make this valuable is if somebody is willing to pay $300 for it.
Everybody's obsessed with the rarest games of all time, owning the rarest games of all time, playing the rarest games of all time. As long as they're worth something. Now I'm only interested in picking up rare games that I want to play really bad, but I'm willing to make an exception for the sake of investing. I want to find the rarest game of all time to help me pay off some fun debt.
Well, what do I constitute as a rare game? Well, something that's uncommon, of course. I think the only rare games that get attention are the ones that sell for ridiculous amounts of money. You couldn't pay me to pay this much. It doesn't help that a lot of articles go up detailing old vintage things you might have in your attic that might be worth a fortune. Yeah, an original Game Boy is rare. It's like $700. Yeah, okay, no. I mean, all you have to do to feel better about owning something is to search for it on eBay and sort the listing from highest price first. I'll think about it. I remember when a bunch of people thought they totally scored after a bunch of articles appeared online saying the VHS tapes of old Disney movies were selling for That's not the case. That's how much some sellers are asking for these things. Are people buying for that much?
I hope not.
The value of rare items is only as much as people are willing to spend on them. In my opinion, no game is worth more than the original asking price of it, and even then, Sushi Striker retailed for $50, my god. A pretty surefire way to know the true value of a game isn't to go on eBay and say, welp. It's to go on price charting websites. These track how much games sold for over time, so you know the average going price of these things. But if I'm gonna pay top dollar for a game, it may as well be the rarest of all time. But hey, who knows? Let's look through my collection and see if I already own rare games. Well, this is it. These are the elusive games in my collection. I own a lot of heavily desired games that go for a lot of money, but these ain't rare. Like, I own a copy of Shenmue, please like me. I own a copy of Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn. That's right. This is probably the rarest game I have. I mean, I have Gravity Rush Remastered, a few uncommon Wii U titles, Chibi Robo, Retro Game Challenge, Xenoblade Chronicles, nothing that crazy. I have Metal Slug Anthology for the PlayStation 2. This was a fairly uncommon game for that system for a while there. I found it for $60 and I scooped it up. The value now is, oh, son of a bitch. I find the value of games to fluctuate like crazy over time. It generally has to do with what's the big nostalgia craze and what's not easily accessible. For that reason, GameCube is fairly expensive now, while a lot of the value of older consoles around the NES era aren't necessarily shooting up in value. The big nostalgia boom for that thing was around 2010, but now it's Chibi Robo's time to shine. Look at that. But we're not just looking for expensive games, we're looking for something that's one of a kind, the rarest of all games. Well, we're not really gonna find much in terms of the more modern consoles. The older the system gets, the harder it is to find stuff for it, and thus the rarer and more expensive some games get. Now, we do have a ton of companies that specialize in limited releases for games recently, but they usually produce a few thousand copies of games. That's just not rare enough. Who knows, I mean, these things might skyrocket in value in 10 years, but for now, get out of my face, Night Trap. 5,000 copies, big whoop. I feel like one of the most likely candidates for an intentionally rare game that's going to skyrocket in value is Axiom Verge on Wii U. Only 5,000 copies on a system nobody's heard of. It's like I'm owning a ticking time bomb of profit. There is that game for the PlayStation 4 that I refuse to say because I'll die laughing. This had a similar limited release strategy with only around 1,000 copies produced. However, the company that sold it was run by one guy who ripped off the Limited Run Games logo, sold the game on April Fool's Day on a website that looks like something you should give your credit card to. Many just thought the release was a joke, but it happened. Only around 80 people bought copies, and the 900 or so copies that were left unsold, well, who knows what happened to them. So this takes the reins for the current rarest game of all time. Let me point this away from the door in case anybody walks in. If we go back a generation, games start to get a little more pricey pricey. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 don't really have many expensive games outside of collector's editions, but the PlayStation 3 has NBA Elite 11. It was canceled, but some copies were accidentally sold at retailers. Now, how many copies actually exist of this game? If I had to guess, I'd say something in the low triple digits, but who knows. But there we go, we have another candidate for the rarest game of all time. Boom. Nothing on the Wii, DS, or PSP even comes close to this game's rarity, which is why we should go back another generation. Gotcha Force is probably the rarest standard GameCube game, and I guarantee that's the sole reason most people own it. There's also NCAA College Basketball 2K3, nowhere near as rare or expensive as Gotcha Force or Elite 11, but hey, 2 rare basketball games, you have to admire that. There's Ninja 5-0 for the Game Boy Advance, which is even more expensive than Gotcha Force. The money per square inch is through the roof on this thing. Rule of Rose on the PlayStation 2 and Steel Battalion on Xbox are up there too, but these games all fail the eBay test. If I can go on eBay and find a handful of copies, they aren't rare enough.
I'm going to show you an item that I bought online, and whoever guesses closest wins points.
I want that welding hat.
If I could see this on one of you guys.
Let's get our next product in here.
There goes its head. It's going live to G4 TV.
Now we're starting to get more into the golden age of video game rarities. Information wasn't kept up nearly as well in the past as it is now with video games, so there are a ton more oddities as we go back. Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut on Nintendo 64 is the crowning jewel of that platform, and it's not even good. I'll pay $400! It was a Blockbuster exclusive update to Clay Fighter 63 and a third, and there were around 20,000 copies produced.
Well, I don't give a anymore. This is ridiculous. All these rare games have 5,000 plus copies made of them. The only rarer than rare games we've seen so far are The Death of Society and a basketball game. And I've already played a basketball game within the year. I don't want to do it again.
The PlayStation 1 has fairly reasonable prices all around, but none compare to LSD Dream Emulator. Well, no wonder this one's up there. The rarest Game Boy game, definitely Amazing Tater, going for a whopping Game Boy Color had a ton of late system support, even when the Game Boy Advance was alive and well, but easily the